I'm not a big fan of the government.
30 on 30. Neither am I.
Getting into 2025 here, I'm not a big fan of the government.
Neither am I. You know what I'm saying? It's always been my dream to win a civilian medal.
Yeah.
From the president.
And now
you know what I mean? And now I'm in league with just the most awful people.
I can't fucking bear the thought. If I got a medal anytime soon, I'm throwing up.
Oh, absolutely. If the president invites me to the White House to be honored at a ceremony where I get the second or top highest civilian honor, I'm abstaining.
I'm saying no. How could I be complicit in such an event when I know who else is on the list?
Yeah.
I mean, that's ridiculous. And we're going to start out 2025, right?
Yep.
I can't think of a better way to start our first episode in 2025. I know the award show released on January 1st, but that was a retrospective.
And that was recorded in 2024.
Exactly. It was like December 28th or whatever. But we're recording this in January of 2025. Yep. And I think the best way to start off this year is maybe for the last time shitting on Joe Biden.
This is true.
Because Joe Biden's on his way out. I already forgot he was president.
Yeah.
As of like July.
He's
still there.
Got a real special ability to just wait just long enough to do something stupid that I forget he's president, and then bam, new news cycle happens and he's right there at the
And this one's stupid for the sake of being stupid. There's no reason for this whatsoever. This is pure unadulterated love of the game.
Yeah, this one's stupid in a way that like only Democrats can be stupid and suck.
Yeah. So a couple of days ago, last Thursday, I believe, President Biden was giving out his presidential medals of honor and so on. Right. These are the awards that are bestowed upon citizens or sometimes other people that have like big influences on global or American culture.
Us.
Exactly. We should be in contention, but we
should have been in contention, but not anymore.
Precisely. We weren't even invited to the ceremony.
It's asinine.
We never have been, which kind of proves to me that these are phony and fake and useless and mean absolutely nothing. But Joe Biden was giving out his presidential citizen medals, and these are awarded to Americans specifically with, quote, exemplary deeds of service for their country and their fellow citizens. And there's just no reason for this. This just pisses me off so much. Joe Biden gave Liz Cheney a presidential citizen's medal.
Doug, for what?
For no reason.
Like, there's good argument to say that she's the reason they lost.
Yeah.
She is part of the reason why Kamala Harris lost, or at least the idea, the reason why they had the idea to campaign with her is the exact reason why they were so out of touch this election and let Trump win. We should not be rewarding that behavior.
Yeah, and there's a little blurb for each of the people that got a medal last week, and I'm going to read a little bit from Liz Cheney's section. Okay. Just one quote. It says, "Her integrity and intrepidness remind us all what is possible if we work together." Dog, no, it doesn't.
What
you
integrity?
Lost.
What is possible when you work together? You working together didn't get you anything.
No.
Not only did you lose the election, but the only other thing she worked with you on was the January 6th committee, which did nothing.
And that's why she got the award. It's because of her work after January 6th, right? Standing against Donald Trump and working with the committee and all that. That's like the listed reason why she got this award, why she got this honor.
That shit didn't do anything.
It didn't do anything. In fact, the guy who she was investigating is going to be the president in like 2 weeks.
And he won, and he won hard.
Yes. It's so fucking stupid. It is literally futility. It's futile. It doesn't matter.
Talk about a fucking participation trophy.
Yeah.
Giving out the second highest civilian honor for, I don't know, nothing?
Nothing.
For nothing? It didn't.
Vibes. It's a vibes-based medal.
God,
it's literally a vibes-based medal. Like, I get the president can give them to whoever he wants because that's like, it's up to him.
Yeah.
He can do whoever he wants, but it's just fucking, I don't care. Like, there are people, maybe like, liberal types, moderate types that'll argue like, oh, she stood up against Donald Trump and fought for these sacred halls. Dog, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
And it makes Democrats look bad, which makes it doubly worse.
And it's like, you give this medal to literally anyone else, I don't care. It's just you give it to Liz Cheney after this election specifically.
Yeah.
Oh my God, man, what are you doing? This is why people don't fuck with you. This is why nobody likes you.
Yeah, nobody likes Liz Cheney. She votes for Donald. She voted alongside Donald Trump when he was in office like 99% of the time.
Objectively awful.
Yes.
Has wielded power in objectively awful ways that have objectively made people's lives worse.
Yeah, she signed on to like all of his agenda until he tried to steal the election, which he was telegraphing for like a year in advance. Like she's not an exceptional person at all.
But then all she did was, oh shit, maybe we should look into that.
And on top of that, she's got the last name of one of the most evil men still alive in the country.
Yeah.
Dick Cheney is like one of the most evil people in America.
I swear to God, the Democrats are just deeply sick, bro.
Yeah.
They are deeply sick. And it's like, that was already bad.
Yeah.
Liz Cheney getting, what is this medal?
The Presidential Citizens
The
Medal.
fucking
It's
bullshit medal.
The second highest
Liz
honor.
Cheney getting the bullshit Citizens Medal was one thing. That was already making me upset. But then I went on to see who the Presidential Medal of Freedom went
Medal
to.
of Freedom, yeah.
Fucking Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton got one.
Talk about a participation trophy for Liz Cheney.
And it was for her service as Secretary of State. And then there was also a bit in there that she was the first woman to be nominated for a general election, a presidential general election. She got a medal for losing, dog. We're giving out participation trophies.
She got a medal for fucking stealing a primary and then losing.
Yeah. Oh my God, dog! It's fucking ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Awful.
It was funny to see George Soros get a Medal of Freedom, though.
And that is hilarious.
That is like
and
really funny.
Conservatives were freaking out about that.
Yeah, because like there's no reason to give him a medal. You know what I mean? Like he got a medal for like his nonprofit and like philanthropic donations and stuff like that. Say what you will about how that works with taxes and all that, but no reason to give him a medal. Other than love of the game. That's all this is.
And it's like, if Democrats at all, anywhere, cared about optics, they wouldn't have done that. They wouldn't have done that. They would maintain like a further, at least aesthetically further association rather than just, oh no, I'm going to honor this man.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's silly. Also on the Medal of Freedom list, I think was Messi.
Yes.
Why? I think he does some stuff with like the UN maybe. But
well, he's just a fan of ball.
Yeah.
Joe Biden just knows ball.
But I'm asking, where's Jared Goff on this list?
If you're going to give it to an athlete.
Or where's LeBron?
If you're going to give it to an athlete, you got to give it to Jared Goff or LeBron. I mean, talk about a Midwest revival right there.
Some other notable names on the list for Medal of Freedom is, I think, Mitt Romney's dad, George Romney. I think.
Fucking what?
Yes, it's George W. Romney was Mitt Romney's dad, but he's dead, so it's a posthumous award. But
why?
I don't know. There's literally no point for that, but that's cool, I guess. Denzel Washington, maybe the only deserving person on the list.
Yeah, that one's cool. Denzel Washington is cool.
RFK Sr. Got an award posthumously, of course, because he's dead. So, whatever, man. Who cares?
This shit is fucking stupid. I thought that, oh my God, whatever.
Yeah.
Fucking whatever.
If we were in contention, then maybe the awards would mean something. Mm-hmm. But now I don't even want to be considered.
But I mean, you consider me, if I'm in contention, right? Mm-hmm. If I'm making that round, if I'm making the draft for what this is, and then Liz Cheney and Hillary Clinton beat me, oh, I'm boycotting the awards.
Exactly. That means the awards are corrupted,
deeply unserious and rigged.
Yeah.
God, talk about people making a difference.
I'm not a big fan of the government.
I'm not a big fan of the government. 30 on 30. I'm not a big fan of the government. 30 on 30. I'm not a big fan of the government. 30. I'm not a big fan of the government. Not a big fan.
Welcome back to the only podcast ever.
Yes.
The only one that matters at the very least.
Basically.
The only news podcast. The only geopolitical podcast.
The only local news podcast.
The only politics podcast.
Yep.
That's this one. You're listening to it right now. And it's the year 2025.
It is.
And folks, here's to another 52 weeks of the podcast.
Oh my goodness. It's going to be a year.
We're literally back.
We got Trump. Trump is still the president-elect, albeit, but in 2 weeks he will be the president. The fucking Republican Congress was just sworn in.
Yeah, Mike Johnson got it done.
Mike Johnson won his speakership. It wasn't as hard fought of a battle as people predicted it to be, but I think there will be turmoil going on, but it's going to be a year.
It looks like he might not have had a grip on it for a second there.
Yeah, he almost lost it.
So it was a nothing ever happens type moment, I suppose.
Yep.
But look, we're heading into 2025. Let us know in the comments what you're looking forward to. We just had our award show last week. If you missed that, check that out.
It's a good one.
Very good 2024 retrospective. I think we went over some good stuff there. But welcome to 2025. First episode that we are recording in this beautiful, beautiful new year. It's a wonderful, crispy 19 degrees outside in the great state of Michigan this morning. And we're here to bring you the news. We got lots to talk about today, including immigration.
Always
immigration,
man.
Discourse has
an enduring issue.
Spiraled. I think this might be the lowest we've seen it in a long time. We got to talk about some terrorism news.
Oh,
domestic terror, that is.
That's true.
I saw a little bit later on. We got some congressional news.
I
saw you got George Connolly in here later.
Some Ohio bills.
Or Gerry Connolly. Yeah,
Gerry Connolly. Does it fucking matter?
No, it doesn't.
Does it matter where he won leadership and we're not going to hear from him for 2 years? So
I think it's telling I don't even know his name.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I threw that shit at the end. We got a little video. He tried to defend himself, but man, this fucking guy.
But anyways, before we get into going over the news today, I'll remind you all to become a patron. Look, you can get early access to all of our content, get early access to when we drop our People of Interest episodes. Maybe we'll be doing like a Q&A or something soon. It'd be our third one. Yeah. It's the beginning of the year. That's usually when we do it anyway. So head over to Patreon, get early access to all the content, commercial-free episodes too. That's huge.
And look.
And support the show.
Like I mentioned pretty much off the top once we got in from the intro, right? Trump is going to be inaugurated in like 2 weeks. The Republican Congress was sworn in. They're already talking about like making like a huge one big just bill.
Yeah.
Just passing the whole agenda in like one bill maybe in the middle of the year. Trump tariffs might happen.
That's true.
You got to get in on the Patreon before the tariffs hit and we have to increase prices 50%.
Well, exactly. Podcasting equipment's going to get more expensive.
And that's a constant charge that we're constantly charging.
Exactly. That means inputs are more expensive. And if you know anything about business, that means we got to charge you guys more.
You guys just don't fucking know economics.
Yeah, exactly. We're business guys.
God damn it. We run a small business. So.
The LLC's been going for more than a year, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like a year and a half at least at this point.
Exactly. So we're the business guys here. So
and you remember 90% of small businesses fail. After a fucking year. Exactly. How long we've been doing this bullshit? 3.5 years?
Too long.
Too fucking long.
Too long for you guys to not be a patron by now.
Too long for too little, I would say.
Exactly. You can also get yourself some merch at headintheoffice.com. We got sweatshirts still available, hats still available. We got if you live like north of Virginia, 4 more months of cold?
Oh, basically, yeah.
You might as well get a sweatshirt. Well,
because winter basically shifted from starting kind of like in October, if you lived in the Midwest, and lasting until beginning of March to... It's 70 degrees in December, and then it starts to snow at the end of December, and then it lasts until fucking May.
Yeah, it was like 60 degrees or 50 degrees like a week ago.
Yeah.
And my sinuses were kicking my ass.
Yep.
And now it's 19 degrees this morning.
What the fuck is going on? I walk outside, my windows are frozen.
Yeah, and in March we'll probably get a massive snowstorm. So get yourself a hoodie because it'll be cold, especially if you're up here in the north like we are. Follow us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. All of our socials are in the description. Join the Discord. We're at around 1,000 members. I think like 2 people left.
What the fuck?
From when we hit 1,000.
What the fuck?
I don't know what's wrong with y'all. But look, join the Discord. Participate in the Hiddo community, of course. And if you're here from TikTok, follow us elsewhere because we don't know what's going to happen with that.
Yeah, what is it? Today the 5th? Today, January 5th?
Yeah.
Yeah, January 5th. I think Supreme Court agreed to hear the case on January 10th. Did they agree to stay the ban? Or did they not?
No, I don't think so.
What the fuck is the point?
I don't think
We're
so.
going to hear arguments and deliberate about it for months, but it's still going to get banned.
Yeah, Trump has, I think Trump has now asked the Supreme Court to put a stay on it or to put an injunction or whatever it is, which he didn't do before. So Trump's out here batting for us.
Trump is, he's making good on his promise to make it good for small business owners.
Vanguard Trump,
I'll say.
Proletarian Trump.
Maybe my class interests are realigning.
Yeah. Anyways, we got to also read our 5-star reviews, of which we have plenty.
Starting
to read
off
today.
2025 right, folks.
That's right. You want to grab this first one?
Yes, I do.
Up?
This first one, #1 geopolitical podcast. That's what we've been saying for literally years by Andrew.
And it was never a joke.
These guys do a great job sifting through the mess that is the current political landscape and giving fantastic commentary from a progressive viewpoint. They're not all talk either, whether it be setting up fundraising for organizations like PCRF or Gage letting kindergartners write his postcard messages. Patreon bonus BDW. Love tuning in every week. P.S. I condemn Hamas and all political violence. Look, I love giving back to the community. I love outsourcing labor.
I love child labor.
I do. I outsource all my postcard labor to the local elementary school, and I let them figure it out, folks.
Well, look, they're going to be workers one day.
Exactly.
You might as well train them up.
Look, it's a lot to handwrite those notes and addresses.
There's like 100, yeah.
Some of you live in some fucking weird places.
Norway. We have a Norway listener, a Norwegian
true.
listener. We have an Italian listener. I don't know if we send them.
Yep, we have somebody in Spain.
Yeah, we unfortunately have Canadian listeners.
What the fuck? Yeah,
y'all are strangely
you guys are
xenophobic.
Fucking insane right now, apparently. Oh my god.
Gage sent me a fucking TikTok yesterday. And I learned that Canadians are weirdly xenophobic, just like Americans, but worse.
Oh my god, it was this fucking dude that I've seen a good amount of times on TikTok just make anti-immigrant but woke video.
Yeah.
He shows this video of a bunch of fucking brown people on New Year's Eve and goes, you know what you notice about this video? And I'm like, oh, what's he gonna say? It's a bunch of brown people? No, he throws me for a loop and he goes, there's no women out right now. And then he said some cultures brown people, brown cultures, scare the host. Literally, he said that.
Yeah, like word for word.
He said some cultures just scare the host. Brother, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, the people that are coming into Canada just don't respect women like us Canadians do.
Give me a break.
Give me a fucking break, dog.
Break.
Oh, my God.
That's, no statistics, no figures, no data, nothing like that. All vibes.
Yeah, all he said is women are scared of these immigrants. And it's like, okay, show me statistics.
And literally just like white knighting, but make it woke.
Yeah,
Like,
it pisses me off so bad when people who pretend to like care about analyzing politics and analyzing like things never care to look beyond vibes and only care to just look at like, oh, people are feeling this way, so that must be the end of the story.
Yeah.
Not why are people feeling this way? It's fucking bullshit.
Anyways, getting on to this next review from Sarah and Fern. Best podcast ever. I'm being serious, you guys.
Agreed. I agree.
Sarah and Fern say, okay, first of all, we condemn all political violence, but in the woke way, not the liberal way. Just upgraded to being a Sunday supremacist a couple of weeks ago and couldn't be happier. I'm so glad that I found this podcast because it's the only thing that helps me feel sane now that everyone has gone insane. I've been listening so much that I now can predict what you guys are about to talk about based on what you're talking about right before. Oh my God.
That's good shit.
Clairvoyance in this listener, if that makes sense. I love living in the Hitoverse, and I love interacting with you guys on Twitter in a totally non-parasocial way. And please wear shorts more often. It's Michigan winter.
Michigan winter is crazy. And you know, the craziest thing is Michigan winter isn't even like it used to be. Michigan winters used to be scary and brutal. And now it pisses me off anytime somebody says, oh, watch out, the roads are bad. You don't know what bad roads are like.
You haven't fought the battles I've fought. You do not know. Yeah, that's, thank you for the review.
Thank you for the review. And the compliment.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
Wow, this next review, superb commentators by Mexplique. My New Year's resolution is to condemn Hamas and all political violence more than anyone ever has before.
Impossible.
And this podcast is the key to my success.
You can be third in line.
I am so happy to have found y'all on TikTok and am a dedicated Wednesday weenie, though I happily drink my communist ration coffee from my sick as heck Hito mug while doing so. Keep up the great takes in the new year. Hito mug, that's an OG right there.
Hito mug. Yeah.
Hito mug.
Lock in. This next one from OK Vicky, subject line Hito.
Oh,
gotta appreciate that. Hello, my favorite non-parasocial friends. I hope you have had a happy holidays. And I'm currently in Michigan for the New Year's, and I'm actively looking out my windows with binoculars to find the two of you. I wanted to change things and say we should now condemn condemnations since we are going to struggle. To finish this off, I think everyone should become a Sunday supremacist to show support for these boys, even though I'm stuck as a Wednesday weenie. What? Follow your own advice.
That's what I'm saying.
Follow your own advice, Vicky.
Wow, but you know, it appeals to hypocrisy. That's a logical fallacy. I would say that her advice is good advice.
So true. I can't forget.
I would say that her advice is great advice that you all should follow.
Yeah, I don't like logical fallacy, so I retract my.
If enough of you follow her advice, then next year you can find me at Ford Field because those tickets are fucking expensive. And right now it's not an option.
$300 a piece.
It's absurd.
Man, should have gone last season because that's when they were a little bit cheaper. Because that's no one knew if the lines were going to do that well.
Exactly.
And now 14-2, hopefully 15-2, but I don't want to make any predictions.
And 1 seed and bye week.
I don't want to make any predictions.
No,
I don't want to make any predictions. Anyways, one more.
One more. This one, subject line, Goat Show for real by New Jersey drone operator. I found this show through Andre Dutra when he did the interview with guys, and I was like, I'll check out an episode. These guys seem good.
Yes,
it was like sniffing white powder. OMG, this is my midweek treat. Yes, I'm a Wednesday weenie. I'm sorry. You guys are the first left-leaning podcast where every other sentence is just why capitalism is bad or literal moderate zombies. I didn't know a left-leaning liberal could be an actual human, TBH. Also, I condemn all political violence. I condemn you calling me a liberal.
Yeah, I do. I don't appreciate the label.
I appreciate the 5-star review, and that probably cancels it out, but...
Yeah. Maybe with you now listening to the podcast having come from Andre's channel.
Yes.
Which we deeply appreciate, which we suggest you all should go check out Andre's channel if you haven't already. Or listen to the People of Interest episode if you skipped over that one.
Both, why not?
But now that you're here, now that you're listening, maybe one day we can fully teach you the difference between leftist and liberal.
Maybe they started on the episode where we're like, oh, we're fucking diehard liberals until the end of this election.
If I ever say that, it's ironic. You know what I mean? I'm never actually a blue dog Democrat.
Well, I mean, I am a blue dog Democrat when I'm excited about an election. And that's pretty much it. And then as soon as the election's over, I'm a traitor. The return of Mao.
Exactly. Landlord's gotta go. Anyways, let's get into the news here. Thank you all for the 5-star reviews, but we got to talk about one of our favorite
same shit
issues.
We've been talking about.
Maybe a pet issue for Hito at this point.
Yeah.
We're talking immigration. Look, we survived 2024 somehow.
Yep.
We're now in the beautiful year of 2025, but we're still talking about immigration. And we touched on it briefly last week during the award show, but of course we were focused on handing out our awards.
Yeah, of course, yes.
So we couldn't give a full news segment dedicated to this topic, but the main focal point of anti-immigration discourse recently has been centered on H-1B visas.
God.
And if you have no idea what's going on.
I shouldn't have to fucking care about this shit.
Yeah, I wish I had no idea what was going on. But I unfortunately know what they are. I've done my research. And we're here to present it to you all today.
Man.
So you can be informed as well. So let's give a little background first. The H-1B visa program was established in 1990 and allows employers to petition the government for the ability to hire foreign-born workers in what's known as specialty occupations, basically very specialized jobs where they have some kind of employment gap. And there's a few criteria here. First of all, employers have to attest that hiring H-1B visa workers won't adversely affect the wages of their other American employees. I don't know the depth to this. It might just be as simple as like signing a statement saying I'm not going to lower other people's wages. We know how these things go.
I promise I won't do it.
We know how documentation and regulation of government or of businesses goes, right? Employers must notify their other employees that they intend to hire H-1B visa workers. H-1B visa workers have to have an education equivalent to a bachelor's degree in the field that they're going to work, so they have to already be educated in whatever country they're coming from. H-1B visa workers typically only stay about 3 to 6 years. I think 3 is like the minimum, and they can get up to 6 if they get an extension on their visa. I don't know, again, the ins and outs, the specific details. We're not going over the minutia, but that's generally what it is. And then there's a national cap of about 65,000 HBV workers every year that get approved. And I think there's an additional 20,000 that the president can approve on top of that for like special circumstances, if they have like a master's or PhD, something like that, or the equivalent. So not a whole lot of people. Less than 0.5% of the U.S. workforce is H-1B visa workers. It's a very small and specialized group of individuals that come from another country and work here for whatever reason, often in like engineering or tech jobs, right?
Yeah.
These people aren't coming here and working like at your McDonald's or working like at a retailer or anything like that. Usually, at the very least. But the battle lines lately, this past week or 2 weeks or so.
On Christmas Day, actually.
Starting on Christmas Day. Which, put down the Twitter fingers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
put down the Twitter fingers.
Spend time with your family.
But the battle lines here have been drawn between anti-HB1 visa xenophobes and pro-HB1 H1B visa xenophobes. Basically, your casual racists have gone to battle with your competitive racists.
Yeah.
And that is sort of the dynamic that we're seeing unfold here. So this fracture on the right over H-1B visas occurred because Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy came out swinging in favor of the visa program, with Vivek basically arguing that Americans now venerate mediocrity and have bad culture. And that's not an exaggeration.
Wild.
He literally came out and said that in defense of this program, right? Because you can see, I'm not going to say you can see where the more competitive racists are coming from, because like under no circumstances you have to give it to them.
Yeah.
But their position is at least consistent internally. They don't want any immigration.
Yeah.
But Elon Musk and Vivek are in favor of this program because they employ these types of workers
and for other reasons that we'll get into.
Yeah, exactly. But I do want to read a bit from Vivek, because I thought the sort of treatise he put on Twitter was interesting.
Damn near political suicide.
Yeah. So Vivek wrote this, and I think this is sort of revealing of his I don't know, specific and unique form of politics. He said, quote, "The reason top tech companies often hire foreign-born and first-generation engineers over Native Americans isn't because of an innate American IQ deficiency, a lazy and wrong explanation. A key part of it comes down to the C word. Culture."
Why is he using business speak in this too? He can't turn it off.
It's chronic.
He can't turn it off.
"Tough questions demand tough answers, and if we're really serious about fixing the problem, we have to confront the truth," in all caps. "Our American culture has venerated mediocrity over excellence for way too long, at least since the 90s and likely longer. That doesn't start in college, it starts young. A culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers." What a fucking nerd.
That's what I'm saying. There's a billion other ways you can kind of drive that point home without going to like the aesthetics of high school. Also know your audience.
Yeah.
Know your audience, dog. The people who you've been messaging to for the past year are not the people who would be susceptible to this. To saying, no, you Americans just suck.
Well, yeah, and like he goes on to list a bunch of different TV shows too, and he's just attacking like Americana. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
American symbols or representations of American culture. Like, that's all he's doing. And it's funny because he's doing the thing that white supremacists do when they're talking about like the global South.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah,
they're like, they just have bad and backward culture. America is superior because of X, Y, and Z. But Vivek's doing it in reverse.
Yeah.
And everybody hated it.
It's not white supremacists. It's not other thing supremacists either, like some fucking right-wingers want to say.
Yeah, he's not being like an Indian supremacist.
No. It's just like wrong and dumb. Mm-hmm. It's just silly.
Yeah, but it is the same logic, right? Mm-hmm. Like, he's arguing for a similar position, just in the opposite direction. It should be noted that since this debate began, though, in the beginning, Donald Trump was completely silent.
Yep.
This was just a thing that Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy and their sort of minions were arguing about on Twitter. But since then, Trump has joined their side in favor of H-1B visas, probably because Trump employs the same workers and, like, there's an economic interest that we'll talk about there. But that is notably a flip-flop from his previous position during his last administration, where he was against H-1B visas and he restricted the program, and the denial rate was like at like 25% versus like 4% under Joe Biden.
Nice.
So flip-flopper.
Flip-flopper in chief. Flip-flopper in chief right there. That shit's crazy.
him.
It's also just like, this shit is so dumb.
Yeah.
This shit is so fucking dumb.
At least it's like a sort of Civil War moment. It doesn't really have anything to do with us, you know what I mean?
But it's kind of like, you mentioned earlier, it's the casual racist versus the competitive racist.
Yes.
It's like, it's the people, Vivek and Elon, who use, like, I guess the aesthetics of racism and, like, a racist moment that America is having in order to gain power for their own personal gain versus the people who are just die hard. They're just about it. And they're finally clashing. They're like, oh, man, I only wanted to aesthetically make fun of, I guess, black people or other people.
The sort of economic reality of being a right-wing populist, the politics laden in that position is sort of coming up against capitalist reality.
Yeah.
Right? Like, a lot of Southern senators, for example, might be rhetorically anti-immigrant, but when they sign policies or when they have to think about drafting new legislation for the border, they're fine with illegal immigration because a lot of the businesses in their states operate off of what is functionally a form of slave labor.
Yeah.
It's just, they're rhetorically anti-immigrant because it wins them elections, but when it comes to the policy, they can't really be anti-immigrant unless it comes to, like, I don't know, massacring anyone that comes to the southern border. But when it comes to these HB1 visa workers, which are often vulnerable and exploited, which, you know, we'll talk about in a little bit, or it comes to illegal immigrants that come over and are working on farms in the South or whatever, they're fine with that at the end of the day. Even if the people that voted for them, the competitive racists, are very much against that and are at least consistent in their being evil and racist.
It is interesting to see, though, how willing, or I guess like how quickly and willing conservatives are to turn on Vivek and Elon Musk for doing the same thing that Trump did.
Yeah, Trump is doing the same thing.
Trump is doing the exact same thing. He's just not getting on Twitter and saying that Americans have bad culture.
Yeah.
Like that, I guess that's the difference there. But Elon wasn't really doing that either. Elon was just kind of making arguments from economics.
Elon did say, like, oh, it's really hard to train Americans to have the sort of like computer engineering skills that we need to.
Oh, really? It's really hard to train Americans to. Are you? That's so fucking stupid.
That was functionally
American workers are still like a lot of the workers in this industry. H-1B visas are a small portion.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a lot of people.
Yeah.
God damn.
But the other side of the schism has been so you got Elon and Vivek arguing in favor of this visa program, but the other side has taken one of two angles. One is that HB1 visa immigrant workers take jobs that Americans could work, which is a faulty premise or a faulty argument that we'll talk about in a moment. And the other, and again, not an exaggeration, is just that Indians are stinky. Functionally, that has been what the argument is. Or, you know, X-immigrant group. Smells bad, looks bad, I don't like them, they're non-white.
It's just like what I've been hearing Canadians saying.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I've seen people say it, you know what I mean? Like, it's a harmful stereotype already, but it's absolutely been applied in this bit of the discourse. Now, to the first point here, this idea that H-1B visa workers are taking these like specialized jobs from Americans, I looked into it. There really isn't much empirical evidence that the H-1B visa program results in Americans losing jobs. We've talked about broadly how immigration doesn't mean that Americans are losing jobs, and it's sort of the same explanation here. First of all, like you said, not many of them, right? 65,000, that's not a ton of people. that are coming in, even if you bump it up, round it up to 10 or 100,000, for example. It's not a lot of people coming in. That's not a lot of jobs being quote unquote taken. And second of all, as with other forms of immigration, there's actually evidence that immigrant workers coming in, even through the HB1 visa program, are actually providing more opportunities because they are coming in, they're spending money in America, they're doing consumerism, which means that there are more job opportunities available because the economy is being stimulated. There was some research even that more HB1 visa workers that are working in like high degree tech fields or high education tech fields actually leads to more jobs being available for Americans in those same exact fields.
Oh, nice.
It's just not the case that guest workers coming in from other countries are taking American jobs and leading to Americans not having access to this form of employment. It's not, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like empirically, it's just not the case. But there is a broader point, sort of beyond the raw numbers here, that I think we need to talk about. The reason that Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are pro-HB1 visas, but basically anti all other forms of immigration, at least rhetorically, is because they benefit from it, or the class of people they belong to, capitalists, benefits from it economically. The politics, as I said before, the politics of right-wing populism in this case are sort of running up against the reality of capitalist economics, because the ability of HB1 visa workers to stay in the United States is contingent upon their willingness to subjugate themselves to their employer. These workers aren't necessarily paid poorly, right? They're working in high-end tech jobs, so it's not like they're getting paid scraps, right? This isn't the illegal immigrant that ends up working on a farm in Florida. This is somebody working for, maybe $80,000, $70,000 a year in one of Elon Musk's companies. Like, they're not being paid poorly.
It is important to note that while they're not being paid poorly, I think on average they still are being paid like I've seen numbers say like 10% less.
Yeah, less than Americans.
Like if an American worker was filling that position.
Yeah, they do get paid below the standard. And on top of that, they're a lot more vulnerable than American citizens because of that threat of deportation.
Yeah.
Which is why people like Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy like the program, because vulnerable workers that you can pay a little bit less are obedient.
They'll fall in line. Yeah.
They can't do anything. They can't say no to you.
They're incredibly liable to just being abused by management.
Which is really good for profit, right? We know that workers like more, we know that employers like vulnerable workers because they're easier to exploit, which means you can make more profit off of them. It's really that simple, right? However, go ahead.
Just speaking to what Elon was saying on Twitter about like Americans are a lot harder to train than H-1B visa holders. H-1B visa holders, I would imagine, like when you open up the hiring pool from San Francisco or even America to the entire fucking world, it's a lot easier to find somebody who already aligns with the set of skills that you need.
Yeah.
It's just as simple as that. You know what I mean? It doesn't have anything to do with Americans culturally being harder to train than somebody from any other country. It has to do with Elon Musk and Vivek and other capitalist business owners not wanting to invest the money required in training highly specialized workers.
Yeah.
They do not want to invest in the American economy, in the American worker, so instead they will just widen the labor pool.
Yeah, and also it's fucking expensive to get a computer science degree in the United States. You know what I mean? Like it's expensive and it takes a long time to do. And now it might be expensive in a country like India, where a lot of H-1B visa workers come from. But like you said, when you expand the pool, especially to a country that's got like what, 1.6 billion people or something?
Something crazy.
You're going to have access, like, and you can only choose like 65,000 total. The government can only bring in that many H-1B visa workers. Yeah, you're expanding the pool. You're going to find the people that you need. But again, it has nothing to do like inherently with Americans or inherently with American culture. It's just, it's fucking hard to get a STEM degree.
No, literally, it's hard to do these things. It's hard to meet these qualifications. The bigger a pool you can pull from, the easier it will be to fill that position.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And the less you have to invest in your workers, in your workforce, to get them to where you need them to be.
Yeah. And I think an important example here is when Elon Musk took over Twitter, he came in and fired everyone except the H-1B visa workers. Because he can pay them a little bit less. Again, this isn't like the illegal immigrants working on farms in our agricultural industry. I don't think that's like a fair comparison. They're making enough to survive. Right?
Oh, absolutely. They're making enough to thrive in some cases.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're not like low-paid workers or anything like that, even though they are paid below what Americans would be paid. You get the idea. But you can deport them if they don't listen to you.
And if instantly, too.
If they lose their job, they get deported, which is like, of course, you're going to fall in line and do whatever they say, which is exactly what Elon Musk and other capitalists like.
Especially if they're in like a state that has at-will employment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, yeah, they can just fire you for any reason. You can just be deported for any reason.
I don't even know if like state labor protections would apply to these workers.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
I think because they're here under a federal program, if they lose their job, they're just gone. And of course, they're at the discretion of, if they work for Elon Musk, a fucking tyrant, basically. Well, if they work anywhere, they're at the discretion of a tyrant for a boss. So yeah, these workers are incredibly vulnerable. And that's like literally the only reason economically that Elon Musk is fine with this program, because he can pay them less and they're more vulnerable. Like it's the economic reality of capitalism.
And important to note, while we're talking about just like kind of broader narratives and people sort of backlash towards this program, is one, people are just kind of, we're having a big anti-immigrant moment right now.
Oh yeah, we're about to get into the left-wing response.
Yeah, me and Jeremy are the only people that are standing against it.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Let me fucking tell you, it's been this way for a year. We're the only fucking people that don't want to deport every immigrant. So one, everybody just wants to deport every single immigrant. And two, there's a narrative going around that H-1B visa holders, because it's quote unquote cheaper labor that can be paid less, are going to depress wages of their American colleagues. The research is out. I tried for like an hour last night to find fucking anything that will tell me like concretely, like, okay, this is what's happening, this is what's going on. But that data just does not exist.
It's just not the case.
There's data that say both things. There's data that say yes, wages are depressed. There's data that says no, wages are not depressed. There are bigger meta-analyses that come out from right-wing think tanks that I was reading that say that no, nothing is really happening. It's not something that anyone can make any definitive claims about right now.
Yeah.
It's not a narrative that's real.
Yeah. And with that, I think we could get into the left-wing response, because some leftists have been arguing that HB1 visa workers are brought in and sort of take the jobs of hardworking Americans for the profit of the capitalist. And I think this misses the mark, right? For example, Bernie Sanders was arguing that Tesla laid off a bunch of employees, some like, I want to say it was like 50,000 or something like
14,000?
14. Okay, yeah. That makes more sense. 50,000 sounds like too many. And then brought in however many thousand.
I think it was, they laid off 14,000 workers and then applied for like 2,500 H-1B visas.
Yeah. Which already sort of seems a little silly to me, because you don't know if the people being laid off are the same positions that the H-1B visa workers would fill.
Yep, and you don't know.
Not to defend Tesla, because laying off people is shitty.
Yeah,
but I just don't think that seems like an apples to oranges.
And you also don't know why those people are being laid off.
Yeah,
outside of the positions not necessarily matching up, you cannot prove that 1-to-1 all of the people that were fired are being replaced by cheap immigrant labor, quote unquote. You don't know why they're being replaced in the first place.
Yeah, and it's like laying people off and then hiring cheaper, or like for paying people less salaries, like that's not specifically an immigration thing.
No,
that's just a thing that American businesses do. Because there's like no layoff protections at a national level,
and that's the first thing that businesses do when there's financial trouble, is they lay off high skill workers. They lay off the workers that are more expensive because it's cheaper to keep on everybody else. Like your director levels, like at a business, are the first people to go.
Yeah.
So,
but the issue more broadly with Bernie's statement is that he didn't really make a positive argument for protecting and welcoming immigrant workers and sort of freeing them from the subjugation under the heel of the capitalist. He sort of just made an argument against the visa program and said he wants reforms without laying out exactly what he wants to see. And I think that's why the reception to Bernie's argument was overall negative.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, you're just basically arguing against the program as a whole, when empirically there's an evidence to suggest that H-1B visa workers are depressing American wages or taking American jobs. And also, immigrants should be free to come to this country and work here if they want to. So I think that's why Bernie's statement misses the mark and kind of just borders on being bad. But I'm not going to take any criticisms from liberals on this point, because you just supported a Trump border bill like for the last year, so you shut up.
And it's also like he can have one miss moment.
Yeah.
He can like miss the mark on one thing and it's fine. Yeah, it's a bad statement, but like overall he's still a good guy.
Yeah.
He still does good things in politics. He's like the best guy we got.
Yeah. Now, look, here's the broader point I want to make. If you're a citizen of the United States, you should not be getting mad at an immigrant, maybe one that's here on an H-1B visa, for taking advantage of a job opportunity when you would do the exact same thing if you were in their position.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's a silly thing to get upset about. You should direct your anger exclusively at the capitalist that so clearly exploits both of you, right? Like, you, as an American citizen, and the immigrant worker have far more in common with each other, even if you're from a different place in the world, than you, as an American worker, have with an American capitalist. You are a part of the same class of people as the immigrant worker. even if the immigrant worker is a little bit more vulnerable, a little bit more easily exploitable, right? You have to be able to look past these sort of arbitrary markers like national origin if you ever want conditions for the working class to improve broadly within this country. Mm-hmm. You got to be able to look past that. And you should be able to, as a rational person, of course, because we're all rational people here. Yes. You should be able to see that being angry at an immigrant or at immigration broadly distracts us from directing energy towards disempowering the people who exploit the entire working class, immigrant worker and American worker alike, right? Regardless if xenophobia wins politically and you're able to like shut down all immigration or completely abolish the H-1B visa program, you're still going to be exploited by the same guy.
Yeah.
Right? Like Elon Musk is still going to be stealing wealth from you day after day. It doesn't make anything different. In fact, the economy probably gets worse if we just cut off all immigration, as we've been arguing for quite a long time. You should generally outright reject any notion that would pit you against a worker that is damn near the same as you, that is working under the same conditions as you are, right? Because the power dynamics at play in our economy that determine the conditions that you live by are the same dynamics that determine the conditions that the immigrant lives by. It's just they're a little bit more vulnerable than you are because they can be deported.
Yes.
You gotta lock in and understand these conditions. It's not the immigrant that is threatening your job. It's not the immigrant that is making your life worse. It's not the immigrant who has no power that is making your position in the economy worse. It is the people with all of the power, the people like Elon Musk, the people like Vivek Ramaswamy, the people like Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the more sort of principled leftist position to take here.
Yeah.
That I didn't really see much of.
Well, it's like also even just arguing from like the point of the H-1B visa program, like in its inception, was to fill gaps in specialization in the American workforce, right? There are arguments on both sides, and there's data on both sides to support the argument that, like, okay, there is this gap in knowledge that the American workforce has, or actually no, with the amount of CS majors that are graduating every year, with the amount of things going on, they can further specialize into this. There's not a gap. Either way, that's why the H-1B visa program is there.
Yeah.
We can address gaps in the American workforce by lowering barriers to education. Like, straight up, that's kind of it. If you want to make the principled leftist argument, I guess, against an H-1B program, it should be from the idea that, like, okay, let's just make it easier for Americans to become specialized. Let's make it easier for Americans to pursue degrees. Let's incentivize Americans to pursue degrees in these programs that we need. And then let's see where it goes from there.
Yeah, because there are real criticisms of the H-1B visa program, right? Like, some people have been arguing that a lot of the visa workers that come over under this program are functionally indentured servants, and I think there's an argument there because they're so easily exploitable. They're so vulnerable. But
is there a pathway to citizenship from the H-1B visa program?
I don't think so. There's not a pathway anywhere.
Motherfuckers always talk about, like, oh yeah, we want we want the good ones to come over. Are those not the good ones?
Yeah, I mean,
are those not the best ones?
Yeah, I think that's a valid criticism, but also, like, if you're talking about these workers functionally being indentured servants, then that's just an argument for greater workplace protections.
Yeah.
Even if it's not at like a broad national level, at least through the program, better workplace protection. So if they get fired, they're not immediately deported. Maybe
like
they
a
can
grace
look for another
period.
job.
Yeah, look for
something
another job
like
type
that.
shit.
The other criticism is that the H-1B visa program, to the extent that there are gaps with this with these certain types of like specialized occupations, this program doesn't fill those gaps in the American workforce. It's kind of just like a Band-Aid on a bullet wound type situation. And to the extent that that's true, like, yeah, sure, we need a greater investment in education, like you said, lowering barriers to getting these degrees. But the answer isn't to make it harder for immigrants to come in or completely eliminate the program.
No. Completely eliminating the program is so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And that's damn near and antithetical to American exceptionalism and what right-wingers believe that America can be this country that's the best.
The beacon upon a hill.
We should be able to open up the labor pool and hire from pretty much wherever. That's just going to make the country better. But, yeah, we should also just make it easier for Americans to do that. To be able to fill those positions. Like,
and it's like, my point is that it's not the immigrant who is in most cases worse off than you that is making your life worse. It's the people hoarding all of the resources.
Exactly.
It's the people that make education so expensive. It's the people who are jacking up housing prices so you can't afford rent. Like, those are the people making your life terrible.
Like, in an ideal world, there should be room for both.
Yeah.
There should be room for the H-1B visa program or a program like it, and maybe not exactly that one because, like you said, they're just indentured servants. There should be room for highly specialized immigrant workers to come over to the country and give their fucking life to some corporation to make some bread here,
Yeah.
to live here for a little bit. And there should be room for the American worker to just easily become a specialized and highly educated worker so that they can also fill those positions. There's room for both people.
Yeah, and some people have sort of taken offense to the label of indentured servant, and it's like, you're still a prisoner even if you don't see the chains. You know what I mean? It's like I get it. It's not meant to be like a sort of pejorative. Like we're not like trying to insult people. It's like your status relative to your employer as an immigrant makes you far more vulnerable than the American worker.
Your life is entirely beholden to your employer.
And like it like more so than the regular worker in America, right? Because like if I lose my job, I'm not getting kicked out of the country. I still have a place to live. I'm still a U.S. citizen with all the rights afforded to me that I had before. It's not the case for H-1B visa workers. If you lose your job, you're just kicked out of the country. You're an incredibly vulnerable class of people, which is why Elon Musk defends the program, because he likes his workers to be vulnerable.
Yes.
They're more obedient. They'll listen to him. They won't push back on anything that he has to say. So I don't think you shouldn't like take offense, right? Like to this idea that H-1B visa workers are sort of indentured servants. I think it's like a valid critique of the system. But again, the argument there isn't to completely axe it and make this like sort of basically right-wing populist argument that it should be Americans working those American jobs.
Because that's crazy.
The argument is to have better workplace protections for everybody, because the immigrant is a part of the working class in the same way that the American is a part of the working class. It's the same group of people, right?
Yeah.
Like there's no distinction there. The only difference is the legal citizenship status. That's all it is. And you should reject this notion that like it's the immigrant worker that's somehow hurting you. Or somehow getting rid of the American or the immigrant worker will somehow make your life better. It won't. It'll probably make it worse.
Yeah, be mad at Elon Musk for refusing to train you.
Yeah.
Be mad at all of these people for refusing to invest in the American economy. If you want to make the argument that Americans should be filling these positions just no matter what, just no immigrants at all whatsoever, why are you not furious that there are so many barriers to specialization and education?
Yeah. Which brings me to my final point, which is that the only way to sort of get out of this rut that we find ourselves in this country, characterized by wages not keeping up with inflation and these sky-high housing costs and the growth of the gig economy, which makes everyone feel very unstable economically, and this sort of growing resentment towards immigrants, is with a massive government investment in the economy paired with a fundamental restructuring of the relationship between employer and worker, right? And all of this can be done under capitalism, so I'm not trying to scare you with the freaky communism or anything like that. But of course, it's made harder because people like Elon Musk are going to resist any alterations to the economy that make it better for the American worker.
Yeah.
But this would mean things like strengthening unions, universal paid sick and family leave, universal health care, government jobs programs, infrastructure upgrades, universal free school lunches, subsidized or free public housing, stuff like that. In short, a sort of new Bill of Rights that would embrace an economy that is geared more towards the prosperity of the working class rather than infinite growth for the sake of infinite growth.
Yes.
But that's the only real way to do it, right? And because that's the way we did it before. The sort of golden age of the American economy after World War II was because of, one, a sort of the war was very profitable for us, but also defense spending was government spending for the sake of the American economy. But also there was just a massive investment via the New Deal in American workers. There's all kinds of issues with the New Deal, of course. Excluded a lot of non-white people, which is very bad. FDR wasn't perfect, of course. But that is how we got to this sort of golden age of the American empire, was through a massive investment in the domestic economy, which doesn't seem like we're willing to do right now.
Funny how you invest in your citizens and your citizens are happy.
Yeah.
Who'd have fucking thought? Who'd have thought?
Yeah, and I think sort of working towards eradicating this material vulnerability that everybody feels will also help at least slow the spread of this massive wave of xenophobia, because people will be less predisposed to blaming some other group for their woes when they're not struggling as much as they are right now. Of course, we say sort of neoliberalism is a precursor to fascism for this reason. It's all just material conditions, baby. That's all it is. It's all it ever has been.
All it ever has been.
Yeah. So
all it ever will be.
That's the latest update on immigration.
Yeah,
the death spiral continues.
Shit's bad.
Yeah,
shit's bad and getting worse.
Yeah,
kind of. Arguments really expanding into niche areas I never thought I'd have to talk about,
and I'm not happy about
I never thought I'd have to have an opinion about the H-1B program. I shouldn't have ever had to have an opinion about the H-1B program.
Such a non-issue. It's like, again, less than 0.5% of the U.S. economy. or the U.S. workforce.
In industries that most American workers don't work in, too.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing. It's mostly like STEM.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking crazy, bro. This episode of Head in the Office is brought to you by Ground News.
Media literacy is a key component of our podcast here, but spotting the biases in news and reporting, especially in our nonstop media landscape, can be hard. Thankfully, the folks over at Ground News are working to make this a lot easier.
Ground News is an app and a website that collects news from all around the world and puts it in one place so you can compare coverage, uncover political biases, and learn who is funding each publication.
Ground News has a lot of cool features, such as the bias distribution, which shows you the political leanings of the sources reporting on each story, and the blind spot tab, which highlights stories that are being missed by either the left or the right. Ground News will even tell you your own news bias based on the articles you've read on their site.
If you're interested in Ground News, you can go to check.groundnews/headintheoffice for 15% off. The link is also in the description, and we would suggest taking a look at their Vantage plan to unlock all the fancy features we've referenced before. And subscribing to Ground News also helps out the show, which we know you all want to do.
Very important. Special thanks to Ground News for sponsoring this podcast, and back to the episode. Now it's time to talk about terror.
Yes, it is.
Domestic terror.
Lots of it going on recently.
Because we got two examples of domestic terror to talk about, both of which came on New Year's Day.
Yeah.
Which was a strange turn of events.
Yeah.
And let's get right into it here. So, again, as I said, there were two major terror attacks this past week on American soil. The first one being in New Orleans, which was conducted by 42-year-old Shamsuddin Jabbar, I hope I said that name right, who drove a truck into a crowd in New Orleans, killing 14 people during a New Year's Day celebration. Jabbar was killed right after the attack when exchanging gunfire with police. And also after the attack, authorities found videos of Jabbar basically planning to kill his family and intending to join ISIS. So I think you can sort of pin down the motives from there.
I thought that genre guy was over.
Guess not.
Man, that sucks.
Guess not.
That sucks.
Hopefully not making a comeback, I hope.
Yeah.
That'd be bad. Cops also found a ISIS flag in the truck. Again, seems like this attack was a sort of ISIS-inspired thing. I don't know if he had like formal connections with ISIS, but he certainly was about it.
Yeah.
In that way. A lot of right-wingers have jumped to immediately, of course, blaming immigration. Shout out last segment. But Jabbar was actually a native-born American from Texas who served in the military.
Wow.
So he was American through and through.
I love how, I think Trump went on and said that this guy was an immigrant, right?
I don't know if Trump said it. I just know that a lot of right-wingers were like, Muslim name.
Brown guy?
Yeah.
Brown guy, brown name?
Yep, exactly.
Brown guy, brown name. Must not be from here.
But no, he was a Texan. There were also explosives found in the truck that either failed to detonate or weren't triggered. It's unclear what exactly happened there. Basically, everyone in Jabbar's life has described him as a sort of like kind, soft-spoken person. I think even Hassan talked to like his niece, which is crazy.
What?
I don't. From what I heard, I only listened to a couple of minutes of it. She wasn't like all that close to this guy. She just was like a member of his family. You know what I mean? Sort of distant relative situation. It's unclear, but it seems like something radicalized him. Details still developing on the story, but crazy overall. And very sad. 14 people died from this. So
yeah, it's crazy. Another crazy thing is I wasted my time reading a New York Post article last night about this that was talking about just like, I don't know, the rise in terror in America.
Oh.
And it basically just made the argument that we need to repeal, what is it, Section 230 of the fucking, which act was it? It was popping off like 2 years ago, when a lot of internet discourse is happening about content moderation and how platforms are not responsible for the things.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Section 230, I think, makes it so that platform of some act, can't remember. They wanted to repeal it like 2 years ago, but it'd make the internet hell again because content moderation would have to be insane. But basically, they were arguing for Internet Patriot Act 2.0 because, I don't know, too many people share ISIS material online. So we needed to do the Patriot Act again, but harder.
Man, it really is just like 2001, huh?
Yeah.
We got a new type of guy coming back.
Yeah.
We got the government trying to justify insane overreach.
Yeah, well, the New York Post trying to preemptively manufacture consent to justify insane overreach, which stranger things have happened. It's not a new thing. Yep. But yeah, that was just wild and wicked to read. They're like, this one guy joined ISIS and made an online blog about it. So now we need to constantly watch every single thing you do on the
internet. We need to infringe on your rights. Really.
Yeah, way harder than we did before too.
Small government conservatives. Gotta love them.
That's right.
Now the second attack, remember I said two, double trouble here. It was highly perplexing, I would say. This one was a lot more confusing. I don't know the politics of the last guy. But it seems like he was just like radicalized into being in support of ISIS or maybe even joining ISIS. This guy, confusing politics.
Yeah.
Because of the circumstances of the event. So
media voter politics.
this one was the Cybertruck explosion outside of the Trump building in Las Vegas, also on New Year's Day. When this first happened, everyone just thought like a Cybertruck exploded.
Yeah.
Because when the images came out, all I saw was the Cybertruck on fire outside of Trump Tower.
Yeah.
Or a Trump Tower, which was sort of
And it's,
symbolic.
Cybertrucks have been failing in like various ways, like across the country. People have been like, I don't know, peeling off the fucking door panels and shit like that. They've just been kind of falling apart.
Yep. The accelerator got wedged one time, like underneath.
It's not that much of a stretch to think with all the problems this vehicle is having, and which, my personal bias is how much I hate this vehicle that it just blew up.
Yeah. But that is actually not what happened here. Turns out it was actually an intentional act, and I want to give you all some details. So the perpetrator here was Matthew Allen Livelsberger, a Colorado native who was also in the military. The attack occurred while he was on leave from his post in Germany here in the United States. Since the attack, the police have released documents from Livelsberger basically detailing his processes of buying the equipment to blow up the Cybertruck in front of the Trump building. He was like writing a journal for like the last 10 days.
Bro's
before
doing
he did
a
the attack.
manifesto?
I don't think it was a manifesto. He was
Oh.
just like, I'm buying this here and I'm getting the Cybertruck from here and so on.
What the fuck is the point of writing down your shit if you're not going to write down why?
Well, it seemed like this was like an explicitly political thing that he did because later on he said, and this is from CNN, this was like a content of the letters. He said, quote, "The incident was intended not as a terrorist attack, but rather as a wake-up call, saying that Americans only pay attention to spectacles and violence, and fireworks and explosions were best to get his point across." I don't know exactly what point he's trying to make, though.
Yeah.
Because curiously, Livelsberger was a Trump supporter, according to his Facebook posts, and according to people that knew him when he was alive. The Cybertruck was packed with fireworks, which caused the explosion. According to police, Livelsberger already had like a gunshot wound in his head. I guess he shot himself before the fireworks went off. So a sort of act of terrorism / suicide. I guess that's usually incorporated in the definition of terrorism sometimes. But you get the point, right?
Yeah.
Very, very confusing act here because he did it in a Cybertruck outside of Trump Tower. Very obviously symbolic of Trump and Elon. But he was also a Trump supporter, like pretty obviously a Trump supporter.
I know. I think I had heard people say that he was like super pro-Ukraine or like some shit like that. So maybe that's where it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know.
In the CNN article I was reading, he also had other points in his sort of like journal entries where he was talking about like the brothers he lost and the lives he took while he was sort of serving in the military or as he's serving in the military. So likely like severe PTSD, I would imagine. I'm not going to go so far as to say this is like an explicitly political act or anything like that because I don't really know what's going on here.
I guess it kind of like has to be if it's Trump Cybertruck.
Yeah, it's very strange though. Some people have been making sort of doing some conspiracies trying to link the New Orleans and the Las Vegas attack because they're both military guys.
God, that's the corniest shit I've ever
They happen
heard.
on the same day. I'm not going to do that here because I don't think there's like much evidence to support it. I think the realer critique here, sort of Occam's razor, is that the military is enormous and there's a lot of unwell individuals that do not get proper mental health care. And that probably explains what happened here more than anything else.
Yeah.
But very sad. I don't think anybody died except for the guy in the truck from the Cybertruck explosion, but both very, very bizarre and scary
Musk
events.
took the opportunity to talk about how well constructed the Cybertruck was because it contained the explosion so much so that not even the glass on the door shattered. So that was an interesting moment.
And I saw people were claiming that when Cybertrucks catch fire, they lock the doors, which I don't know if that's true. That was the claim that I saw, though, and now I'm spreading it on this podcast. So do what you will with that information. But yeah, crazy events.
Do your own research, folks.
Yeah.
Do your own research. Yeah, no, that sucks. I think a very frustrating part about both of these, other than, obviously 40 people dying on New Year's Eve, that fucking sucks, was I saw a discourse about it where it's like, conservatives were complaining that the media was very quick to label the Cybertruck bomber a terrorist, but more apprehensive to label the ISIS guy as a terrorist. And it's like, I get it, but also I don't, because like you only want to label this guy as a terrorist because he's brown. The federal investigators are waiting to label this guy as a terrorist because they want to see if this act is political. Like, terrorism is very much defined as, like, I don't know, violence for a political purpose or political reason.
Yeah.
When you fucking do a bomb at the Trump building after Trump just got elected president and is about to be inaugurated in a Cybertruck where Elon is a prominent political figure.
Yeah.
You can't really separate that from politics. But when you drive a truck into a crowd of people, sometimes people just do that, unfortunately.
Yeah, and we've seen it. Yeah.
We've seen it. And the media eventually did come around and they're like, okay, ISIS flagged this guy's a terrorist.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it's just frustrating, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like, America's a very violent place.
Yeah.
I saw some articles that, like, acts of, like, vehicle mass killings are becoming more prevalent. I think there was just one in Germany, in fact.
And
I think
that's
on
why
Christmas.
we need more public transportation.
Yeah, well, that precisely, and we need like better protections for when parades and stuff like that are going on. I saw that the New Orleans police kind of dropped the ball in terms of preparing for cars.
Police dropping the ball. Who'd have thought?
For like protecting the people that were actually there.
There were barriers that they could have put up that are designed to stop something like this that I think they just didn't put up.
Yeah, and they were warned about it in advance because, of course, they were.
Yeah, because the FBI suspect was known to the FBI, probably.
Well, the whole FBI thing, yeah, but also I think
is he actually?
I think I don't know if he was. I don't know exactly, but probably because the FBI has a handle on a lot of these guys. But in terms of like protecting people at the New Year celebration, the city had been warned for like years and years that like something like this is possible if you don't take more precautions.
Yeah,
and they never took more precautions, and here we are.
It's the only fucking job.
Yeah,
it's your thing is just to set up the fucking barriers for like, I don't know, fucking 6 nights a year, and then that's it.
Now, of course, like the driver's at fault and so on.
Of course, yeah.
But like, yeah, there could have been more done to prevent something like this from happening. Maybe he would have just gone and done it somewhere else. But you get the point.
Well, there's just a general trend in this country of elected officials and or public servants just not taking the steps that they need to take to stop mass death events from happening.
Shout out Joe Biden.
Shout out Joe Biden. Shout out Joe Biden. Shout out nobody wanting to pass any sort of gun reform whatsoever.
But yeah, that ends domestic terror news for this week. Not great. Starting off the new year in a terrible way.
Well, I guess, yeah.
I will say, somebody lost their life. Very sad. Probably, PTSD, traumatic.
Bad mental health shit, yeah.
And military not great at dealing with that kind of stuff. But the image of the Cybertruck on fire in front of the Trump building, hard to say it's not political, right? Very symbolic. That was insane. Seeing that,
especially right after right-wing civil war.
I'm just glad nobody got hurt. Of course, like nobody was there when it happened. The video is crazy. Once I watched it, it was very obvious that it was fireworks. But it's like, very obviously meant to be symbolic.
Yeah, and it is always kind of funny whenever something like this happens, and all the civilian explosive experts come out.
Well, of course, I'm a munitions expert.
I am.
He's a Trump supporter.
Exactly.
Like, why do so many Trump supporters keep trying to kill Trump?
Dude, that's
what's going on.
It's crazy. 2024 is the year of the conservative terrorist. When the Trump thing first popped off, we spent a week or like 3 days praying that it wasn't a minority of any way, shape, or form.
And it wasn't.
I felt like we got so lucky that it was a white Republican. I wasn't even expecting it to be a Republican. I thought it was going to be a Democrat. I thought it was going to be a shit lib. Really? No, it's a white Republican. And then they do it again. I don't know if we found out the politics of the other guy, but again, it was a white guy. I'm like, holy shit.
He was a Nikki Haley fan.
Oh my God, another fucking white Republican.
It was, he wanted Nikki Haley and Vivek to run together, and he was a pro-Ukraine guy. He's a NATO guy.
Maybe it's the pro-Ukraine. That's the line.
It's the one NATO voter. Yeah.
He's like, no, Joe Biden, Finlandized NATO.
And then these next two times, the New Orleans one really isn't like a Trump thing. It's just kind of a terror attack.
But I'd argue that's far right as well.
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, ISIS.
Yeah.
It's like as far right as you can get.
Yeah.
At least not in America. But then this guy, Trump supporter.
Trump supporter.
Like, what's going on?
I feel like there was another one somewhere in between the assassinations and this that was a Trump supporter too.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, shit. That's just where we are now.
Shit, man.
What is going on? What is going on?
Yeah, what is going on?
Yeah. Someone needs to do something about this. Do the Tucker Carlson bit.
Exactly.
No, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Maybe Tucker Carlson was the one who put a handle on all of it. None of this happened until he got fired.
That's true. America is falling apart, a deeply sick place. But yeah, no, I don't get why, like, these acts of political violence, sort of directed either directly at Trump or sort of adjacently, symbolically at Trump, they're all done by people that voted for him, probably.
And you still want me to believe that Joe Biden has fiery rhetoric?
Yeah.
Nobody's tried to kill that guy.
Fuck it. Leftists and liberals post online. Republicans take matters into their own hands.
Leftists post about firebombing a Walmart. Conservatives firebomb Teslas. Like, what the fuck is going on, people?
We live in a bizarre...
And none of those are good. I condemn political violence.
I condemn political violence of all kinds. Mandatory to do that,
It's
of
just
course.
pointing out the irony.
It just doesn't make sense. I don't understand. And I get why people are being conspiratorial now, because it's like they're trying to sort of put meaning onto all of this, when really... I think the truest explanation is both of these dudes were just deeply unwell.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
All of the fucking people who get out and do stuff like this are deeply unwell. The fucking 2 Trump shooters, like these guys, like you got to be kind of crazy to do something like this. You got to be crazy or goaded by the FBI.
Also, like being in the military, for the dude that blew up the Cybertruck, like you have knowledge of explosives. You could probably make a bomb pretty easy if you wanted to. He chose fireworks.
Yeah.
You know? Like
that's the other annoying thing. I'd seen people talk about like, wow, he was like a Green Beret or some shit like that. They're like, wow, he was this person, but he didn't know how to make a decent fucking bomb. Shut the fuck up.
The car blew up.
Shut the fuck up, dog.
He blew it up. Like he did what he wanted to do. I don't know.
I'm a better munitions expert. I'm the online munitions expert, missile expert, fucking forensics expert. Like I'm that
vehicle
person
expert.
Vehicle
that's me.
expert.
Yep.
That's me. I run a podcast, motherfucker. What do you do?
I know what I'm doing here.
I have license. Like conservatives love to say right now, I've been given a mandate by the people. Say and do whatever the fuck I want, and that's it. And now, what I want to do is zoom in. Talking about big issues nationally, right?
Yeah, too many.
I want to zoom into Ohio.
We're losing touch with the pulse.
Exactly.
We don't have our feet firmly planted on the ground. We're out of touch.
No. We've been covering national news a lot. We've been covering geopolitical news a lot, and Ohio, man, they're making sure to get their foot in the door for the worst state of 2025 with these various pieces of anti-trans legislation.
Oh man,
we got to cover some Hit-O classics right here, folks.
This is quintessential Hit-O right here.
Bread and butter of the podcast right here. We had a year and a half where we got out of it, but now we're back because this is all there's going to be to cover.
Ohio is just representative of the duality of man.
Absolutely.
Produced J.D. Vance, produced Braun.
A great evil and a great good.
Bengals just beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, what's going on here? And then they're doing crazy anti-trans stuff. Who knows how to feel about Ohio?
Bengals and Browns. Oh, my God. Even then. Just, oh, my goodness. What the fuck is happening, people?
It's crazy.
What the fuck is happening, people? Ohio, bipolar state.
I know.
Bipolar
and that's why I can't set foot in there.
No, never.
I know we got some Ohio listeners. And
yeah, I drive through Indiana whenever I need to get down there.
I know we got some Ohio listeners. What's going on?
Guys, fix this.
Yeah, what is going on with your state?
You need to step in, and you need to step in and step up. Starting with just a classic piece of legislation here. Ohio did indeed pass a bathroom bill, and it was signed by Governor Mike DeWine, so now it will take effect on February 24th.
Yeah, Mike DeWine, all that shit about like not being terrible.
Yep.
Now he's terrible.
Yep. It's a bathroom bill, so there's really not much to go into detail here, other than people are not going to be able to use the bathroom that was they want to use. It's going to have to be the bathroom that was assigned to them at birth. How you police these things, I don't fucking know.
Exactly.
But I kind of want to dive into another aspect of the narrative that we haven't really talked about before and that I haven't really thought about, but is important. So, from the Ohio Capitol Journal, quote, transgender youth who can't use the bathroom that aligns with their gender are at a greater risk of sexual violence, according to a 2019 study published in the journal Pediatrics. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like nobody stands to gain anything from policies like this. It strictly just goes to make life worse, right? The guise for passing these bills has always been protecting women from predators who will take advantage of trans acceptance to do, I guess, nefarious things in bathrooms that they're not supposed to be in.
Yeah.
We've already talked about many times how that just doesn't happen.
Yeah,
and that's just kind of a silly fake narrative that goes on. Trans people are not committing offenses at higher rates than cis people. You did a whole fucking video essay about this.
Yeah, well, and importantly, like sexually assaulting someone in a bathroom is a crime already.
Exactly.
Right? Like it doesn't really make a difference, and there isn't evidence to suggest that having inclusive bathroom policies leads to more assaults happening in bathrooms.
That's exactly what I was about to say too. Bathroom bills don't stop these offenses from happening. No predator thinks, wow, I'm about to do something illegal and very bad, but I can't because something less bad but also illegal is stopping me.
Yeah, exactly. Like the bathrooms aren't fortresses.
I'm about to do something nefarious in a bathroom that is evil and nobody could justify this action. Oh, fuck. But fuck. They said I can't because it doesn't match the gender I was assigned at birth.
It's illegal to go in there.
Yeah, that's just not a fucking thing.
Yeah.
So it's like passing this bill doesn't help cis people. And literally, as we saw from the Journal of Pediatrics, just makes things more dangerous for trans people.
Well, yeah, and another important note, if we're talking like crime statistics, is that if somebody is going to do like a sexual assault, for example, it's often not just on like a random person out in public.
Yep.
It's usually like a family member or somebody that you know oftentimes, which is the more sort of sinister part, is that Republicans don't have any real policy solution for that issue. They're just using the sort of, as you said, guise of protecting women to attack trans people because they want to eradicate trans people.
And it's like, okay, with this information, while trans people exist, which they will, because they always have, and they will continue to exist, bills like this only increase the instance of sexual assault and sexual misconduct. There's carte blanche. If you want less sexual assault in the world, let them use the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly.
It's plain and simple.
Yeah.
It's kind of a bit silly.
It's a non-issue. Also, it's a non-issue because like police have said there's no way we can monitor this policy. Like it's an unenforceable solution for a problem that doesn't exist. Like Texas police have said this shit. That's how
they're crazy.
That it's an actual, like, it's a nonsense policy, especially on this issue, because police are saying, like, yeah, we can't do anything with this.
Texas police are wild because it's like they're like the one police force in the country whose government is more far right than they are.
Yeah.
Because I think Texas cops or like the Texas Police Union also will lobby the government to institute gun control because, just having anyone be able to have a gun no matter what, no questions asked, is more dangerous for police officers as well.
100%.
Makes their job so much fucking harder and makes more liable for them to do bad things. You know what I mean? And they're also coming out against pro-trans. Who'd have thought?
Well, like relative to their state legislature, they're pro-trans. They probably don't care that much, or maybe are actively anti-trans. But it's like we can't do anything with the bathroom bill.
Exactly.
Just makes our jobs harder. Like we got to pay attention to bathrooms now, on top of trying to not get shot by a random Texan.
Yeah.
Like,
what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Man? Are we gonna station cops outside of fucking bathrooms all the time? We gonna have cock checkers?
Yeah. What are you gonna do if like there's a bathroom bill in Texas, and then a trans person rolls up with a gun, like open carry?
Oh,
what are you supposed to do? That's a dangerous situation.
Trans person, they got a revolver on their hip.
Yeah,
just go crazy.
Well, and that's their constitutional right. That's their right to have a revolver on their hip.
You're a Texas cop. You got a dilemma right fucking there.
Exactly.
You got a dilemma right there. And it is crazy to note that. I feel like every time a new bathroom bill gets passed, because I think there's like 14 states right now that have bathroom bills. It's like Alaska, Texas, Ohio, and the other shitty ones. You know what I mean? The other fucking shitty red states that are reliably red have bathroom bills. I feel like I personally learned something new that I've never considered about why these things are just bad. And I've collected so many different reasons why these things are bad. Fucking trans people just get sexually assaulted when they can't use the bathrooms they need. Trans people have a higher instance of UTI. That's public health right there.
Yeah.
Fucking trans people are just more likely to be physically assaulted. Things like that. It's bad for their mental health. Like, there's not a single good thing that has come about from any one of these bills.
Yeah, and more broadly, it's another example of them not being accepted in public, which leads to worse mental health outcomes, of course. Like, we know this. Yeah.
Is it just worse for the public?
Yep.
Come on, people.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's actually ridiculous. And I think there's like a positive economic argument you could even make for trans acceptance. Like they become more productive members of society when they're not ostracized actively. You know what I mean?
When trans people can use the bathrooms that they identify with, they'll want to shop at the mall longer.
Exactly.
Because they won't have to hold in their piss more because they're scared to go to the bathroom. They can shop longer and they can consume more. Fucking put me at the fucking Milton Institute.
Yeah.
Put me at the head of these. Put me at the head of the fucking Heritage Foundation.
It's not great.
No, it's really
not great.
It's really not. And it's just, why are we passing bathroom bills in 2025? Or why are we instituting bathroom bills in 2025?
In 2025.
20 year of our Lord, 2025.
Halfway through the 2020s, people.
New year, bad start. New year, bad start. It's been an interesting decade, folks. But on another note, Ohio recently passed HB 8 in the legislature and is waiting for it to be signed actively right now by Mike DeWine. I think he has another week to sign it before, I don't know, it just fucking automatically gets kicked back to the legislature. But I think they have a veto-proof majority. It's fucking Ohio. Yeah, they had a veto-proof majority last session to pass their gender-affirming care ban. So
the gerrymandered to all hell.
Be surprised. Yeah.
It's a bad state.
Bron, I need you.
On the whole, run for Senate.
Run for Senate, please. Come back.
Against, well, JD Vance isn't there anymore.
Take a seat.
Take a seat, yeah.
Take a seat. He'd hate that.
Yeah, we're not going to get the, what would it be, the 2028 race against JD Vance and LeBron for Senate, unfortunately. But LeBron, I believe in you.
It could happen.
It could happen.
JD Vance could decide to step. But
so
either
cool.
way, HB8, what is it? This one takes a page out of Florida's playbook, the same playbook that won them Worst State of the Year in my eyes back in 2022. And that play was to make it so that educators are required to forcibly out students to their parents.
That's excellent. Wow.
You talk about a bathroom bill being asinine in 2025. This shit is just fucking dumb.
Yeah, man, we got to go back to the 2022 talking points. I got to dust off the playbook.
I got to dust off the playbook. I got to dust up the defensive coordinators over here.
Oh my
Call me Aaron Glenn.
I've been dealing with this shit for so long.
I got an injured defense, and I'm trying so hard to make my way through.
It's such nonsense.
I know.
There's literally no point for this whatsoever.
And it's like, I feel like the bad here kind of just goes without explanation, right? Like, if you're a normal, moral, sane person, this should be abrasive to your ears.
Yeah, forcibly outed at all is bad.
Yeah.
You should not be forcibly outing anybody. But especially if a student in school only comes out to the people that they go to school with, right? They come out as trans, they come out as gay, whatever. There's a reason they're not telling their parents.
Oh my God, I'm saying not all parents are good parents.
And teachers should not be made by the state, by state law, to tell the parents of that student, because it could put the student in a dangerous situation.
Yeah.
Right? Like, schools are often safe places for students' identities, away from maybe conservative, maybe overly religious parents. And to forcibly out that student puts them in a dangerous position.
And sometimes school is their only safe place away from their parents.
And we got statistics on that.
It is the only place where they literally have to be for like 7-8 hours a day that is separate from their parents, that their parents can't just constantly lord over them.
Yeah.
It's the only place they can go to have privacy and just like be themselves.
Yeah.
And only place where they could act differently in any way, shape, or form. To take that away from them is just straight up unsafe.
Which I would argue is like a secondary purpose of school, by the way. Like, on top of being educated and learning, of course, and being prepared for the world, it's socializing, learning who you are, testing out new aspects of yourself and stuff like that. Like, that is the point of school.
It's not just about, I don't know, fucking learning the quadratic formula. It's also about learning who you are.
Yeah. And that's the woke take.
And that's the woke take, exactly. And it's just... Man, it's crazy that we've really got to a point where this is still happening.
Yeah, no, but there's literally no justification for Ohio to do this.
It's just going to make kids more depressed.
Yeah,
it's just going to increase instances of bad mental health. Especially when conservatives 2 years ago were pretending real hard to care about mental health when we were actually maybe about to pass gun control. Like, oh, mental health.
Yeah,
fix this.
Yeah, no, it's And again, I have to emphasize, like, all of this is done under the guise of either like protecting women or protecting children or something. It has nothing to do with that. Yeah. It's all just about eradicating trans people and eventually gay people as well from
this
public
one
life.
The forcible outing laws are always sort of constructed. I think this is under the parental bill of rights.
Jesus
Stupid fucking name, man.
Parental Bill of Rights.
So fucking dumb.
What more
this
fucking
shit makes
rights
me want to
do
put
you
a shotgun in my mouth. Oh my God. But either way, I digress. These ones are always sort of passed under the guise of like, oh, we're protecting parents.
Yeah.
How?
Protecting them from what, bruh?
Protecting them from what? Finding out their kid, their boy likes to kiss boys?
Well, yeah, that's a fate worse than death.
That's
no son of mine.
That's what they fucking act like.
Yeah.
And it's no reason. If a queer kid is hiding their queerness from their parents, like you said earlier, there's a fucking reason for it. The only person you're not protecting anyone. You're strictly making it more unsafe.
Yeah.
Like if
opening them up for abuse.
Nothing about a child's sexuality pertains to their safety in such a direct way that parents absolutely need to immediately know.
Yeah.
And that's just a fact. You know what I mean? If a child's sexuality stands in any way to directly harm them, it's only like a secondary reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's only like because a regular harm was happening to them and it just happens to be gay this time.
Yeah, and the argument from the right is often like, oh, by not telling these parents, you are opening the child up to being groomed at school by a teacher. And it's
not.
like, yeah, well, first of all, you're not. Like, empirically, it's not the case. But let's go, like, theoretically, the argument is that you're opening them up to being groomed. Similar to the bathroom thing, grooming's already illegal, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's already a crime.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? The most likely scenario, what actually happens is a student might open up to a teacher and say, I don't trust my parents. That's why I haven't told them about this. Because teachers are mentors for students oftentimes, if they trust them enough for that kind of thing.
How does that even stop grooming?
Yeah, it doesn't,
Like,
of course.
I genuinely don't understand how you could even say that would stop grooming.
Yeah.
Because, like, what are they going to do? Pull their kid out of every single fucking school and home? I mean, maybe genuinely they might just homeschool their kid now. And I can make an economic argument for this thing. You're losing money for the public school. You're losing money for the public school, and I mean Ohio public schools.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure homeschooling is less efficient too. Like it doesn't produce quality workers. Let's say. I don't know exactly, but the point is like it's not protecting anybody.
Yeah.
And we've been saying this for literally years.
Yeah,
almost 3 years.
We've been ahead of the game.
Yeah,
we've really been ahead of the game, man. Yeah,
it's mighty unfortunate.
That's the state of gay LGBTQ legislation in Ohio right now.
Yeah, Ohio's not
starting
locked
out 2025 fresh.
Yeah.
Hopefully Mike DeWine vetoes it, and hopefully it doesn't have the majority it needs to pass. But I mean, it's Ohio, so
it's
Ohio, so I'm really not going to. It's like the Democrats. I'm always going to rely on them to do something bad.
And that's usually a good bet. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So
maybe they're just gearing up. Maybe they're storing so much negative karma that they can finally unleash another LeBron.
Yeah, they're the duality of man, the balance.
Maybe this is so the Bengals can make the playoffs. Somehow the Dolphins will lose. Bengals will make the playoffs. They beat the Chiefs. Bengals Lions Bowl.
Oh, Bengals Lions Bowl. No red team in the Super Bowl this year. No red team in the Super Bowl. Oh man, maybe Joe Burrow can lock in and get it done.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I guess that's Ohio news, huh?
That's Ohio news.
Not great.
That just sucks. Zooming back out, we got some extras.
We got
Mike Johnson won the speakership. I feel like the most notable thing about this is that they changed the rules again so that instead of anyone being able to put forward a motion to vacate, he can only be ousted if 9 Republicans, specifically Republicans, agree to bring a motion to vacate. The historical precedent for vacating a speaker is anybody from any party can do it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Before... Crazy. What's his fucking name? Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah.
See how irrelevant he was?
Yeah.
What a loser. Before Kevin McCarthy, I thought it was kind of insane that they made it so anyone could bring a motion to vacate just because, you knew Matt Gaetz was going to do that shit whenever he pissed him off.
And he did.
No, that's actually historical precedent. I was reading a bit about it. It was just different in the Obama years, I guess, or like right before.
Well, yeah, and if the minority party, if the Democrats like try to vacate, it just will fail.
Yeah, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, that's how you safeguard against that.
Yeah.
But now, because I think there's only going to be a 1-seat majority in the House.
For a little bit, yeah.
They've made it so that, no, actually, Democrats can never do anything to even attempt to hold them accountable.
Man.
So that's interesting.
9 Republicans, too. I wonder if that was like a specific number they chose. I wonder if they were counting heads. Like, this person will vote, this person will vote.
I think there were 3, like, holdouts. I know Chip Roy was one of them, and I don't know who the other ones were. So
Freedom Caucus type people.
That's
probably
interesting. I guess the other kind of congressional House news that came out this week was that Republicans right now are arguing over whether or not to just do all of Trump's first year agenda in one big bill or split it into 2 bills. The 2 bills would be like an energy and border bill and then a tax bill later in the year because they have support to pass an energy border thing right now, but they don't necessarily they can't rely on the support to pass all the tax things that they want to do because they want to do crazy tax shit, and they need some Democrats in the Senate to be able to sign on to it.
Yeah.
Because right now it's what? 53-47?
Yeah.
Republicans, Democrats. They need 7 Democrats to sign on to literally anything they pass to pass the filibuster. So the tax things, there's going to be something there. That's the fight. Maybe we'll have Build Back Worse under Trump.
I remember when Republicans under Biden were talking all this shit about like we need to vote on every provision individually.
Yep.
We can't have any omnibus bills.
Yep.
And now here we are.
No, it fucking pisses me off.
Not that the public cares at all. Again, congressional news doesn't matter.
Which is crazy because it's like the public pretends so hard to care.
Yeah.
Every conservative is always bitch. Anytime a fucking conservatives vote against something good, anytime the conservatives vote against the Making Children Happy bill, conservatives on fucking Twitter and Reddit love to go out there and go, oh, you didn't know what else was in the bill, bro. You didn't read the fucking bill. You didn't see the $50,000 that was actually going to Minnesota fixing their roads that shouldn't have been in that bill. You don't fucking understand the pork that's going on in this legislation. You're not going to hear a peep about that when they pass this massive sweeping bill.
No. That was always just a sort of self-rationalization to not have to answer for why Republicans
children being happy.
Yeah, exactly. It's literally
thanks, credit.
I mean, there was one bill that was like funding the FDA to ensure there were no more baby formula shortages.
Yeah, we covered that.
That got voted down by Republicans, of course. And we posted about it, and everyone was like, all the conservatives were like, "Oh, what else was in the bill?" It's public information.
You can look it up.
These documents are available on Congress.gov.
Yeah.
And there was nothing else in the bill.
But I can also guarantee you that whatever else in the bill just was not as important as the baby formula shortage. Usually the things that are getting covered are the most important parts of the bill. You know, as much as like we and everyone shits on legacy media, there's legacy media and there's like, I guess, alternative media that we and all the other stupid fucking podcasters fall into, right?
Yes.
Everybody's combing through all of this information. You really like if absolutely nobody is talking about the $20,000 that was set aside in the fucking $3 billion budget for this one fucking thing, for this one fucking, I don't know, aquarium in somebody's fucking office.
Yeah.
Then it wasn't important.
Wow.
Straight up, it is so many people's jobs to go through all this legislation and find the important consequential bits of it.
Yeah.
Nobody is voting against a package because of the pork that's in it. Nobody's voting against a package because of what individual legislatures secured for their district. That's just not how fucking government works.
Even if you are voting against like the $100,000 for, I don't know, a fucking statue in New York or whatever, you're also voting against the entire bill.
Yeah.
Like you're voting no for all the shit that might be good, the Feed Kids bill.
Yeah.
You're voting no against that too.
And that is how we do negotiation.
Yeah, that's how it works.
That's how you do things. When you're writing these bills, you sponsor these bills, you go around trying to collect votes, and you're like, okay, you won't vote for this. What if I give you $100,000? Then will you vote for it? Yeah, you give me $100,000 for my district, I will vote for it. That's how your representatives bring things back to your districts that are good.
That's how it works, yeah.
That's how legislation happens.
Yeah.
That is like the most like fundamental way. There's no other way that these people would be able to negotiate.
Yeah, yeah. Like you'll get my vote if you give me money for, I don't know, my zoo.
Exactly.
You know, yeah.
It's really important to me that my zoo in this district has been struggling. If you can secure me $50,000 to give out in small business grants, then I'll do this.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they do it. And that's the fucking pork that these people talk about. Did you read the bill? Some of the shit is stupid. I agree.
Oh, yeah.
But less stupid is feeding kids.
Yeah. I'd rather feed kids, even if it means that, I don't know,
there's some wasteful spending,
stupid,
quote unquote. And that's what's going to be, again, so frustrating about Doge. It's going to be Doge's job to highlight all of these things that are used for negotiation for good things to happen and just disinform the public.
Just like they did for the spending bill we talked about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
The government funding bill. That's exactly what they did.
Which is crazy because it's like sometimes more information makes you less informed. Crazy how that fucking works. You know what I mean?
My brain's not big enough for all this.
My brain don't understand medium voter type shit, medium voter syndrome.
Yeah.
I guess other congressional news. Are you familiar with the DNC chair race?
I haven't been paying a ton of attention to it.
I haven't been paying a ton of attention either, but this week I saw that Amy Schumer's cousin, Chuck Schumer, decided to endorse Ben Wilker for the DNC chair. I didn't really fucking know who this guy is.
Wisconsin guy, right?
Wisconsin Democratic Party chair.
Yeah.
But from reading about him, he seems pretty sick. It seems like progressives like him because the prevailing narrative I saw on progressive Twitter was, oh, this guy must be worse than I thought because Chuck Schumer endorsed him.
Yeah, well, that was my immediate feeling. It was like, oh, Chuck Schumer's good with it?
That's what I thought,
The guy who said we can, lose rural Pennsylvanians and pick them up in the suburbs? Yeah.
I completely ignored the story when I saw, oh, Chuck Schumer endorsed the guy. He must suck. But I did my due diligence. I decided to look into him. And an excerpt from a Wisconsin Public Radio article says, after a bruising year for Democrats, Wilker said the DNC needs to clarify its message by, quote, using language that people actually use in real life, not just what feels like a political ad, while meeting young voters where they are on platforms like YouTube, TikTok, Discord, and podcasts.
Oh, shout out Ben Wikler.
Fucking Ben Wilker, bro. You just
God.
shot from number. I didn't even fucking know you to number one in my book.
Ben Wikler for fucking podcaster general.
That's what I'm saying. Overall, it seems like he knows where things should be going, and most importantly, it seems like he knows how to win. This guy is the guy that is responsible as the Democratic Party chair in Wisconsin since 2019 for ushering forth the strategies that got Tammy Baldwin the dub in this election when Harris lost.
Also, Democratic governor in Wisconsin. That's big.
And also, last election, he's responsible. Well, I guess his being
party.
the head of the party in Wisconsin, they are responsible for flipping 14 seats in the state legislature to Dems. So he's winning in the Midwest.
Yeah,
he's winning in the Midwest. He's winning in a battleground state.
This was the last election when Harris lost.
Yeah,
that 2024. Yeah, so I mean that's
he's making moves, and Tammy Baldwin was the only progressive Senate candidate.
Yeah.
It's like straight up.
and Harris did, I think Wisconsin was Harris's best swing state too.
Yeah.
So maybe Ben Wikler knows what's up.
So it seems like he knows how to reach people.
Yeah.
You give him that national platform. He's talking about meeting the youth where they're at too, which I think is an important thing to note considering how, When you say meet the youth where they're at, other than social media, the only thing I can think of is Gaza, because that's really the big issue that the youth kind of stake themselves on.
Yeah. Well, now thankfully Trump will be in charge of that foreign policy issue, so liberals can pretend.
Thankfully.
Yeah, liberals can. Well, politically, it's a good thing because liberals can pretend.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we'll be good on that hopefully again.
Yeah.
But maybe he'll shoot some money these fellas' ways. You know what I mean? He'll shoot some money our way.
Ben Wikler leading the Democratic Party, funding the podcast.
Yeah, funding the proletariat.
This is where you meet the young people.
That's where it's at. We got a lot of young people in our audience.
This is where you meet the young people, right here, right now.
We talk to them. We're in their ears for like 2 hours every week.
We're the only podcast. Mm-hmm. You got to meet us where we are.
Fund us. Buy us a studio like you did. Fucking call her daddy.
Oh my God! If they paid,
you know what we could have done with $300,000?
So much, man. I could dedicate so much time to the pod.
Retire.
If I had $300,000, dog.
Cash injection right there. I'm retiring.
That's like that's so many years. That's so many years I could just focus on the podcast. But no. Democratic Party wasting money, lighting it on fire.
Maybe not with this guy, Ben Wilker. Oh, he also used to be a senior advisor for Move On, which I didn't know what that was originally. Yeah. I looked it up. It's a progressive PAC and policy advocacy group.
Oh, maybe he's a cool guy.
So he seems actually like a pretty sick, like cool progressive guy.
Yeah.
So that's good news. I don't know much about his competition other than most of them suck hard.
Yeah.
There's a Homeland Security guy, which do not fucking let him win.
Come on, brother.
Marianne Williamson, which
I saw, and she got enough like delegates or whatever to be on stage.
Why?
For the debates.
Why?
I don't know, man. She's about it. She's locked in.
She's awful.
I really don't know what's going on with her.
Why do fucking Democrats support her?
I don't think she doesn't have like a ton of support. She just met the threshold.
What was the threshold? There's like 440 something like people that get to actually vote, I think.
I want to say it was like 40, but I might just be pulling that number out of
40
nowhere.
fucking idiots, bruh.
Yeah. So she's like qualified to be, I don't know if it's like a debate or like a roundtable situation. Yeah,
she's not gonna win.
Or just like name on ballot, whatever it is. But she's about that life. You got to put respect in her name for that.
Yeah.
She's not giving up. She loves losing.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess so. Love of the game. I guess we should give her a freedom medal.
Yeah. I mean, at this rate, she might just get like a position in the party infrastructure.
Fucking why?
I mean,
maybe she could abuse more staffers.
She's sticking around. Maybe she'll be put in charge of like something stupid. I don't know, like fundraising or I don't know, something within the party infrastructure.
Bring her back to Hassan while she runs for this. Raise her profile a little bit more. No, I do know another guy that's running is somebody out of Minnesota. I can't remember who exactly he was.
Yeah.
But he was endorsed by a pretty shit dude. So I hope this guy wins.
Yeah, we kind of just have to wait and see what happens. Do you know when the election is?
February 24th, I think.
Okay.
Or no, I think that's the Germany elections. That comes up a little bit later. It's February 1st.
Oh, shit. So coming up real soon, less than a month away.
It's kind of right around the corner. So I'm sure we'll hear more things like in the next 2 weeks. I'm sure things will start heating up. It'll be a little bit easier to see what's going on. But that's the state of that race.
Whoever says economic populism is winning my vote.
It sounds like that's what this guy's saying.
Okay. Yeah,
that's what this guy's saying.
Hopefully there's like a debate or something. That'd be fun.
Oh, my God. A debate would be so good.
Little Democratic Party debate.
Uh-huh.
Just to see like who rises to the top.
I can't believe there's a Homeland Security guy up there.
That should be disqualifying.
Get him the fuck out.
Yeah, no.
Get him out
of here. Send him to the Republican Party. Yeah, that's crazy.
That is crazy. Speaking of crazy. We're talking about this race. Democrats also had another race that was pretty big that we talked about like 2 weeks ago.
Huge race, yeah.
Huge race for the top messenger in the House.
Yeah.
And it went the wrong way. We got to talk about Gerry Connolly. This guy, geriatric Connolly, went on CNN this week to defend himself from the Oversight Committee backlash. And I'll just kind of let him speak for himself here. You want to click on this Twitter link and roll the clip?
Yeah, let's see if I can pull this up.
It's like a 48-second clip or something. He's talking to somebody on CNN about why he should be the guy that leads the Oversight Committee.
So Gerry Connolly's out here defending himself.
Yes.
He's putting his name on this. All right, let's see if we can take a listen.
The decision about leadership ought to always be based on a proven record, skill set, competence, capability, and your plan for moving forward. I've never had my chance to be a ranking member or chairman of a full committee.
Dog.
This is it. And I've got the bona fides and the credentials over 16 years that my colleagues, looked at, examined, validated, and decided that's what we need. We need the best general we can put on the battleground.
What the hell?
With 4 more years, prospectively, of Donald Trump. And that's what the Democratic caucus overwhelmingly decided to do.
Overwhelmingly?
Uh-huh.
The decision
Not overwhelmingly.
about-
Not overwhelmingly.
So it's crazy, right? Because we start off, and like, yeah, he's making some good points there. Like, you can't really argue against. Oh, you should put forward the person who's best for the job. Here are the credentials. But then he immediately just loses me when he goes, and it's my turn.
And it's my turn, Doug.
It's my turn.
This is why the Democratic Party sucks so bad. That was basically the Biden response. It's his turn. He's been working so hard. That was what they said for Hillary Clinton. It's her turn. She's up next or whatever. This shit sucks.
This shit off. Every time you've said that, it's been bad.
Yeah.
Every time you said that, with the exception of Biden, it's been bad. And look how Biden fucking turned out.
It's not how politics works. You don't just wait in line and eventually get your turn at fucking 74.
It's also like, he's talking about it's his turn. He has so much experience. He's been in Congress for 16 years.
Yeah.
I don't think that's that much fucking time. Like, sure, maybe that may be more than a lot of other representatives, but like, dog, like, you're fucking 74.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest part about this is the only thing I've ever heard from you is this.
Mm-hmm.
I have never heard of you doing anything else other than winning something that you shouldn't have, and then fucking coming on CNN and saying this. I've never heard him message about anything else.
Yeah,
Didn't even know where he was from.
Because, again, when you're the minority party and you're on something like the Oversight Committee, your only job is rhetoric.
Your only job is to fucking do oversight and point out every little fucking minute flaw that the majority party is doing.
Yeah, and if we were talking like, we want the person who's best at doing rhetoric, the person who will be a field general, who will be day in and day out directing the troops, the foot soldiers, that kind of thing. It's not this fucking guy.
Not just
it's
because
not this
it's your
dude we
turn.
never heard of.
Not because it's your turn.
Yeah, nobody fucking. I don't care if it's your turn.
I don't give a shit about you.
No, I literally don't care.
I didn't know who you were.
Oh my god, brother.
What fucking bona fides do you have?
That shit
if
sucks.
I didn't fucking know who you were.
That sucks so bad.
Yeah, so
that response alone should be disqualifying. He should lose his job.
This, much like the Freedom Medal to Hillary Clinton and the Civilians Medal to Liz Cheney, is just our participation trophy. Democrats love participation trophies, and maybe conservatives were right. Maybe we need to do away with that shit.
No, this obsession with seniority will be the death of the Democratic Party, if it isn't already. I mean, they just lost crazy in this last election. And it's because we keep deferring to these old people who have just been around for a long time, only because they've been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, sure, there is some benefits to people knowing the inside and outs of Washington. Like, I'm not saying you should purge every old person from the Democratic Party, but they shouldn't be at the front of the party just because they're old and have been there for a long time. Yeah. I don't care if it's your fucking turn. It doesn't. That's not how politics works. You don't get a turn.
You've been there for 16 fucking years.
You got to earn that
and
shit,
haven't
man.
done anything.
Yeah.
What has Gerry Connolly done? Like, please tell me, like, what has this guy done in Congress?
I saw he called himself a policy wonk. He said he's not about the popularity contest. He's a policy wonk. Which is like, brother, it's literally a popularity contest.
What policy are you going to pass to the fucking minority party, dipshit?
No, exactly. We don't need a fucking policy wonk.
You are going to be fucking fighting for any little fucking scrap that you can get, and it's still only going to pass not because of your chamber, but because of the Senate.
Yeah.
And it's going to be what they want.
I would accept the policy wonkery if he was on like the energy
Ways
committee,
and Means,
or he was on agriculture or something like that. Like, fine, be wonk out, dog.
Yep.
Wonk out as much as you want on those committees. This is the rhetoric committee. It's the oversight committee where you're going to be overseeing government corruption, business corruption,
fucking launching investigation after investigation after investigation, going after people.
Yeah.
Fucking questioning people hard.
You should be making the fucking Republican chair's life hell.
Yep. Because
it's judiciary and it's oversight. Those two have the cameras on them all the time because they're doing the high profile shit. And that's where Democrats in the minority party right now can make a name for themselves and cause some drama. And we got this old fuck here who's like, well, it's my turn.
It's my turn. You got to let me do it.
I'm so sick of this party, dog. Look what they did to my fucking left leaning party. Oh my God. It's down bad. We're down bad.
It is. So
it's bad.
That's the Democrats right now.
I'm not a big fan of the government.
I'm not a big fan of the government.
And,
even just thinking again about this DNC chair race, I'm always relying on Democrats to do the wrong thing. So hopefully somehow they do the right thing. Hopefully they throw enough shit at the wall that some of it stinks and it smells good.
And it's crazy that this was all out of personal spite from Nancy Pelosi.
Yep.
Like, Hakeem Jeffries, fakest speaker of all time.
Yep.
Is Nancy Pelosi still in charge?
God, Hakeem Jeffries sucks.
And from a hospital bed, because she had fallen before because she's fucking like 85 or whatever, she made sure AOC lost.
Like, why did Hakeem Jeffries get fucking Speaker of the House, huh? He's not a fucking senior member of the party.
He was the one that was just prepared by Nancy Pelosi. And she was stepping out of the way in the same way Biden did, I guess, which just led to another fucking loss.
Stepping out of the way for my people to do the same fucking thing as
I was surprised to learn from the Majority Report that usually when when the House is lost under a like Democratic or Republican speaker, usually they resign from leadership. Like in the past, that used to be how it worked because
really?
you lost the majority
Yeah.
on your watch, so you shouldn't be in leadership anymore. That used to be how it worked like regularly. That changed with Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi was the first one to win a majority and then lose a majority and stay on as speaker.
Damn,
in like a long time.
She was cool for a couple months. Back when she did the whole make Biden drop out thing.
Well, when she agrees with me, she's cool.
Literally.
And when because good things are good and bad things are bad.
It's not controversial to say that. It's not hypocritical to say that.
Yeah, it's not. It's not a tautology.
In conclusion, she can't trade stocks anymore.
Yeah.
I'm, again, anti her trading stocks.
I'm revoking her insider trading card.
When she does good things, she is rewarded with insider trading. When she does bad things, she should be punished with less money. Mm-hmm. And that's not crazy to say. I'm tough on crime.
Who are you as a man to tell the first woman speaker if she can insider trade or not? I'm the guy who should have all the power. That's who I am.
I'm the charismatic leader that should be at the forefront of this.
I'm the vanguard.
100%.
I'm the revolutionary vanguard.
I am. You guys don't fucking understand. Well, you all do, but your friends who don't listen don't.
And Nancy Pelosi doesn't get it.
No, she doesn't get it.
She's too old.
Yeah, you throw enough shit at the wall.
She's too old.
Throw enough shit at the wall. You're bound to get one right take, making Joe Biden step down. But speaking of bad takes, Elon Musk just recently authored an op-ed in some fucking publication that where he just spent his time endorsing Germany's most far-right party for their elections in February.
Yes.
Did you see that? The AfD?
I saw part. I didn't read it, but I did see part of the sort of controversy about it. Yeah.
I didn't read it either, but it's just like, who the fuck do you think you are? Mm-hmm. Why?
Well, first of all, endorsing a far-right party in Germany.
That's what I'm saying.
Red flag.
Like, it's obvious.
Yes.
Like,
and it's not even speculation. There are members of the German AfD who have just said Nazi shit.
Yeah.
Either like repeated Nazi slogans, or I think a couple of years ago there was one member that had said something like, well, I wouldn't immediately want to jail a member of the SS. I'd want to know what he did first. And it's like, well,
I mean, historically they did a lot.
That's like the Holocaust group.
Yeah.
Like they did that.
They were like,
you know?
they were Hitler's top guy.
they were the guys. Yeah. So, it's a Nazi party, a Nazi adjacent party. It's not even subtle anymore. It's what they are.
He just gets out there, endorses them, and his whole thing was like, "Oh, they want to deregulate. They want to unleash business in Germany." He just built a Tesla plant.
Do you know where the
Germany.
term privatization came from?
Oh no!
It was invented to describe what Hitler did before World War II. The term privatization was coined to describe what Hitler did to German public services. And then we got this fucking guy writing an op-ed in favor of the party.
We need to privatize. We need the far right party to privatize. Not like 80 years after the big one.
Yeah.
They're 90 years after the big one.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. We're not even 100 years out.
Yeah, so that's dope. And because that's how he defended himself. When people are like, what the fuck are you doing? One, endorsing Nazis in Germany.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Crazy optic thing to do.
Yeah.
They said, who are you to even comment on German politics in general? You're fucking American and doing all this bullshit. I would agree if I didn't run the highest rated geopolitical politics podcast in the country.
Well, good things are good, bad things are bad.
Good things are good, bad things are bad. Precisely, right? And he said, I have significant financial investments in Germany, so I get to comment. I bought my way into being able to influence politics.
I have influence over German politics.
No,
because
literally.
I'm wealthy,
I have wealthy. I've invested money in the German economy. Therefore, I should get to run it. It's the same fucking thing he's doing over here. And because Trump won, he just feels more emboldened to be able to do it everywhere else.
Yeah.
This is a fucking oligarch. This is a fucking
The one good thing is that Germany is not like the world military superpower as it was back in the 1920s and 30s. So that's good.
Yeah.
Like we're not really at risk of them invading their neighbors anymore. But it's still bad to see a far right party rise up in Germany of all places. Because it is. Did they already gain power, or the elections set to come?
Elections come out. I think they're February 24th, and I think they're like second right now.
Okay.
They're like the second most popular party.
Yeah, because I was reading headlines like this is the most powerful the far right has been in Germany since the Nazis, of course.
Which bad look.
Well, yeah, very bad look.
Very bad look for Germany. So yeah, they're like the second most popular party. But I think from what I've seen, the other parties, because they got a bajillion parties over there. Lord, I wish we had something like that over here. Have vowed to not do a coalition government with them. So that's cool. Because you know. You don't want to be the guys who fuck with the Nazis in Germany.
Yeah, there was like so many members of the AfD who have just like said Hitler shit. I think there was one guy who repeated the German phrase that Hitler used to say all the time, like everything for Germany or everyone for Germany.
Oh, nice. Wow.
It's something crazy in German that Hitler used to say all the time.
That's something that you can do here and have plausible deniability. That's not something you can have plausible deniability with over there.
Yeah. There was somebody, maybe it was Marie Le Pen, that said if the AfD wins, like she'll still like compromise and work with them. There was some French phrase that has something to do with like compromising with extremists or something like that. Also, like
they
Nazi
just got a phrase for that shit.
adjacent.
They just love doing that so much that they coined a term.
It was in French. Stupid language.
Stupid language, stupid ideas.
Even if I knew it, I wouldn't repeat it. But yeah, there's like, far right people, Nazis are excited everywhere for the prospects. So
my God, man, anti-incumbent, fucking COVID did damage. Let me tell you. Oh my goodness, man, it's all Fauci's fault.
And even JD Vance was out here. JD Vance was out here defending the AfD as well.
Yep.
And he basically said like the places where AfD is most popular are places where Hitler was not popular back in the 1930s.
Which is not true.
First of all, not true.
Yep.
Like empirically not true. Second of all, are you really going to pretend that like the Nazi elections were free and fair? like one of the groups most famous for pressuring people and intimidating people into voting for them.
Yeah.
You're going to sit here and tell me like, oh, actually it's the big cities where the Nazis were popular. Come on, dog.
It is just factually untrue too. Some of these places that vote for the AfD became strongholds.
Yes,
for
that's
the Nazis.
True. That is true.
Like,
yeah.
Insane. And I think, what did he tweet? Like, interesting. In
Elon
response
Musk?
to Elon Musk. No, JD Vance tweeted interesting in response to Elon Musk's article.
Oh,
bro, fuck you. I hate you. I hate that guy so fucking much. Oh my God.
He's got plenty of time to read right now because he's not doing anything else.
Well, he'll have
for the
so
campaign.
much time for the next 4 years to do something while he's not working.
Well, because I know the VP doesn't do anything, but when he runs in 2028, you better believe I'm going to be.
Oh, why did he not execute on this agenda?
Mm-hmm.
Why did he not do everything in his vast and far-reaching power?
Yeah.
To do stuff like this. My favorite part of the Elon Musk article was, in an attempt to like shield himself from criticism, in the op-ed, he said that the far-right party's candidate, it's a woman. She was a lesbian, so she can't be Hitler. So everybody loves identity politics.
There's a joke in there about like black woman Hitler that people have made so many times, but I'm not even going to bother. Like,
is she a black woman?
No, I don't think so. But it's like there's always, at least in like online discourse, there's been like, I don't remember exactly what it was. This is from like years ago.
Yeah.
But people would like draw the Wojaks and it'd be like a black woman in a Nazi uniform. It's like, well, she can't be that bad. It's a black woman. You know what I mean? It's like ideologically you're a Nazi though. Like it doesn't make a difference. Yeah.
It's just identity politics. It's just identity politics, but it's cool when they do it, apparently. So everybody gets to fucking do it. Everybody loves identity politics, but nobody just wants to come out and say it.
Mm-hmm.
That's good though. That's good. I think
good.
she's a lesbian. I think so. He said it's a woman in a relationship with a woman.
Literally doing identity. I thought the left was the one that did identity politics.
That's what I thought. They can't take that from us too.
Mm-mm.
They really can't, man. I know we took immigration from you guys, but you guys can't take that from us either. This is not a trade.
Outflanking the left on identity politics. That's fucked up.
They got me. I can't criticize her anymore.
Yeah.
I can't criticize her.
Well, I guess Elon Musk is right. It's not the Nazi
I support
party.
women's rights and wrongs.
That's good. Everyone's a liberal nowadays.
I know.
Everyone's a liberal.
You hate to see it, man. You absolutely hate to see it. Those are the extras that I could find this week.
Yeah,
I think that's like pretty much like everything notable that happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Here's to fucking 2025. Whatever, man. This
fucking stupid.
We'll see how this year goes. But before we go, as always, got to give a special thanks to the people that keep the lights on. And if you want your name on this list, if you want a shout out at the end of every episode, and more importantly,
every single one,
commercial-free episodes and early access to all of our content.
Oh my God.
Got to go over to Patreon. It's the year of 2025. Get us to our goal that's been posted for a little while now. Maybe we could get there in the glorious year of 2025.
And most importantly, we talked a big game about education earlier in this episode, and with accreditation going away soon.
Yeah.
You got to get your name on this list so you can get on. You can graduate from Hidden University magna cum laude.
Well, yeah. Well, just like every other established university, we're going to be mailing out degrees soon.
We will.
And those of you that have been around for a long time, that have been on our thank you list, will be getting a postcard.
You're on the dean's list, folks.
You get your postcards, you get your diplomas, you get your degrees and whatnot.
Yeah.
So expect that in the mail because we're a real established university.
That's right.
That doesn't need to worry about accreditation because it's gone.
Hidden University fucking EST, like 2021? Some shit like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, come on.
And that's
oh my God, 2021? That's crazy. Doing this shit way too long.
Anyways, special thanks.
Special thanks to our wonderful patrons, starting with Caden Kraut, Lord Tao, the Radiant, Chris the Postman, Christy Beck, Dylan B., Andrew Harris, Mike Chaplinsky, Omar Zuno, Clayton LaFed, Mark Yeager, Caleb Joy, Rich Toro, Tari, Gavin Mayer Maldonado, Hunter W., Fergalaki, Max Vasquez, Jacob Rogers, Colton Mooberry, Fixer Punk, Jim Egbers, Jeff Muzzy, Bagel Burrito, Cincy Alex, Joe Stenstrom, Adrian Sandoval, Chloe Sam 601, Colleen Cutsford, Yook, Jennifer DeVoe, Big Bird Titty, Crawfish, and Ben Pennington III, Alexia Benanti, Nietzsche, Big Booty Beatdown, Sam Maloney, Two-Headed Boy, Ben Shapiro's Boyfriend, Ted Cruz's Boy Toy, Dictator Jace, Luke O'Shea, Cucker Tarleson, Danielle Jackson, The Word of Microsoft, Jennifer Science, Internet Has Gundams, Darth Father, Tailored for Content, Corey Chambers, Ellie N, Devin Hatchard, Retromondo, Emma the Dude Slayer, Veronica, aka V, Raxon, Ash Smith the Grotler, Flower Clown, Beetlebugs, Murder in a Trench Coat, Lonnie Rogers, Slavic and Sapphic, Casey Lynn Kelly, Snake Eyes, and Hope of Giants, AK Gon, Zach Lantian, Info Russell, Austin Greif, Marcus Corbett, Caleb Roper, Taylor Rensox, Cammy, Tylen Freeman, Steak Daddy, Tay Tay, Isaac Hodges, Madeline C., Kayla Lowe, Anna Validic, KCC, Say Yes to Wes.
August, Particular Pikmin, Sir Capalot, Jeff Sines, Howard the Duck, Brendan is Egg, JR, Drew Batchilder, Froggy Gumdrop, Jackie Boy, Shameless, Coherent Babble, Sasha, MJ is Sharp, Michaela Muncie, The Wallace 3000, Jared Finch, Tactical Snowflake, Son of Ander, Vanilla Bryce, Chris T, Kishan Lala, Amanda R, Hanky Panky, Tyler J, Damian Blues, Ashley White, Particulon, Memfrez, Lauren, Uncrasmatic Boar, Sasquatch, Rhonda Stiletto, Midwest Marxist, Joe the Mailman, Gary from West Michigan, Shawnee GG, Juniper Not Jupiter, Stacked Crabs, iCrowley, Urban Peach, Lord of Forlorn, Holt Forsyth, Kevin Kasaya, Schnoodle, Booty Snakes, Erica, Krusty Crab, Do Fairy, Chelceratops, Austin Lima, Lane Waltz, Azim Fida Hussein, Gorgeous Girl Mukes, Brooklyn G, Noverk the Dastardly, Goldthorn, Addie Book, Merlin, John from Houston, Anaya, Ian C, Cryle Bongi, That Art Dork, Sergeant Pookie, Connor Nix, Jordan T, Hoodie, Kim Kitsuragi, Rose Grimm, Kristen, Jamie the Young Extremist, Jack the Heathen, Archer W, Evan Mingo, AJ Torres, Elo Nico, Jake Hall, Julian Castro, 2028, maybe, I don't know, and my mom. Thank you all so much for supporting the show on Patreon.
Wonderful show.
We couldn't do it without you. Again, if you want your name on this list, you know exactly where to go.
Yes, you do.
Support Hiddo in 2025.
Please do. We need it.
Everyone's talking about how do we win back white men? How do we win back young guys? How do we capture the podcasting market? We need a Joe Rogan on the left. You're looking at him.
Right here. Right here. And there's two of them.
The answer to all of your questions can be found with us.
They lie on the Patreon. Let's go check it out.
Thank you for listening.
Have a great week.